That's true. Forgot that was going on.
Already got that done. Didn't even have to text you guys last night.
Perfect.
Is the game starting at 7:30, or are they trying to rope us into the pregame and they're starting at like 8:15?
It'll start at 8:15, I'm sure.
I was going to say.
Did you not get the link right away this morning?
No, I did. I was just busting your chops there. We had already connected when I sent that no.
All right. Well, it was 5:54 and I hadn't seen you yet.
Well, it was 5:52, but okay. I knew I was okay.
You guys are unbelievable.
I'm fucking believable. Just a show. It's all right. Whenever you want to show up.
Yeah. Yes. Whenever I want to show. Right. Yep. I just show up when I want to.
Whenever
right.
you want to show up.
Right. Yep. Yep.
Talk about aliens.
Yeah. 3 times more interesting than how many coaches are getting fired.
We never got more details on that, did we? On the alien story.
Well, you think there'd be better pictures from a cell phone in 2024.
Right, exactly. I will say there's no explanation as to why apparently half of the Miami PD force was at that mall, but whatever. Yes, I have to admit, I was thinking of Adam at around 3:45, 4 o'clock yesterday.
I was as well.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. It's funny. Josh Allen had 3 turnovers yesterday, but Tua sucks. That Dolphins offense in the second half was not good, though. And they stopped running the ball again.
Tyreek got bailed out by that PI because he dropped that again. On that last drive.
Yeah. Yep. Dropped a touchdown the week before. Think they lose if they don't give up the punt return?
No.
Yeah, I'm not sure they would have either. And we have to remember that punt return, 90, that's one of those, what are you doing fielding it? Oh.
Yeah, right. It's genius when it works, but when it doesn't work, everyone just wants to be on their high horse.
And normally it doesn't work, but yeah, for both teams, Paul, a lot of injuries, even the Bills.
Dolphins just kept losing player after player.
Yeah, they're Yep. Never mind the 3 starters who didn't play.
Here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. It's a combination of Black Monday and National Championship Monday. How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton here on the Florida Sports Network. FloridaSportsNetwork.com. Top of the morning to you, Mark. How was your weekend?
My weekend was great. We're running out of these football weekends, so you've got to start trying to figure out who your family is, identifying them, which ones you like, which ones you don't, which ones you want to spend time with.
Hold on a second.
Fortunately, I like all my family, so I didn't have to choose.
Well, and it's a small family.
Right. But some people have to choose.
Right. But here's my question. Didn't we just do the whole Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's thing? Haven't we spent time with family? Don't we know everyone's name? We've put the faces on the back of the milk cartons and the names. We've put it together. We made nice. We can go back to ignoring them now. It's the end of the football season.
It's possible. I mean, again, there was more time this weekend and it's not the holidays. Now it's post holidays. Now you really find out how well you get along because everybody's faking it during the holidays, David.
True. Right. Absolutely. Not wanting to, disrupt, whatever family dynamic is going on. Your small family, the bigger family. Right.
You run a lot of play action through the holidays, David.
Boy, do you ever.
You're really trying to freeze up that linebacker to see what you can do.
Mike McDaniel, I think, needs to think of play calling as the holidays. Because you know what the holidays are? It's a lot of running the ball. It's a lot of running the ball. We're just trying to shorten the game, churn out the clock, not commit the big mistake. That's what the holidays are.
No, you want to get Uncle Tom to go home early.
Right. So you run
the ball around. Uncle Tom can stay late.
Yes. So, Mike McDaniel, once again, 8 yards a carry in the first half. Did they run the ball in the second half? I just made it. This is a habit. And then, once again, offense in a big spot, not getting it done. Credit to the Bills. They found a way. All three facets. They got it done. Buffalo wins the East. Miami's going on the road. And Miami's going to Peacock. They put the Chiefs on
Peacock.
Listen, you write a check for $100 million in the NFL, they'll give you a little something for it. They will. They had a couple of other, choice. They could have given, they could have put Texans Browns on Peacock. No. You know what we're going to do? How about we give you Mahomes? Taylor Swift's going, what the heck? Peacock? I haven't performed before that small of an audience in years. We'll get to that a little bit later on. Do you know who ruined football in the state of Florida this year? Besides Billy Napier? I'm fired up, folks.
Wow.
Fired up.
Wow.
Besides Mario Cristobal?
I was going to say, keep going. The list is longer than you think, David.
The college football committee.
Ooh, nice play there by Trent.
Well
That's
done.
probably number one.
Well done. You know who ruined football in the state of Florida this year? The Tennessee Titans. That's who. The only reason the Dolphins had to play yesterday for any sort of meaning was because the Titans went in there and stole one in the final 4 minutes. 5 weeks ago or whatever it was? Miami takes care of business in that game. It's over. Last night's game was an exhibition. Instead, oh boy, don't know about a playoff run now. And if so, none of it's going to be in South Florida. And they saved their best for last. They hate Jacksonville. The Titans and the Jags have history, and it's not pleasant. And Tennessee did it to Jacksonville again. We said, not sure Derrick Henry's going out with an L. I'm pretty sure Derrick Henry's not going out with 14 carries for 39 yards. Just said, don't know how much fuel's left in the tank. Don't know how much tread's left on the tires. But there's enough for one more Sunday in Nashville.
Cost me a winning week.
Are you sure?
I thought so. I went 2-3.
I thought you went 3-2.
Well, then it cost me a 4-1 week. Either way, it cost me a game.
It did. It did. But I thought you had a winning week. And again, it was early this morning when I checked our picks. So, maybe I was discombobulated. I had a good week. I went 6-1. The only one I got wrong was the Colts. All right. Minshew Mania killed me. It's a swing pass, buddy. Come on. Come on.
Yeah, that's a tough way to go down.
But that's all right. Yeah, you can handle one. So I thought you ended with a win.
I did go 3-2. For some reason, I had myself for 2-3.
No, you had a winning week. You ended with
credit.
You ended with a string of winning weeks. So I even think you covered the VIG this year.
It'd be close.
No, I think you got about 3-4 shekels after the VIG. All right. You could probably afford to after your next round of golf this week. You can't buy for, like the club or anything, but I think you could buy a round for your group.
That's about it.
Yeah,
I can afford to buy a drink for the foursome.
I think your net profit this year was about $18.
Perfect. As long as you don't have to pay the man, I'm good. 6-1 for you, though. That was,
I know,
especially after losing your first game.
Right. I went 6-0 yesterday. Yeah.
Got in the end zone, missed the extra point.
Yep. That's okay. Which there was a lot of that yesterday, by the way. A lot of that over the weekend. Missed extra points. Yeah. Almost came back to haunt the Texans. Do you know the Houston Texans won a division this year? In the NFL, not like in college. They didn't win the AAC or anything. No. A year ago at this time, they had the worst record in the league. Then they went to Indianapolis and won, and that was cute. So they dropped down to the number 2 pick. Then a year later, they win a division. Do you know how many coaches are getting fired because of DeMeco Ryans and the Houston Texans? A lot.
And rightfully so after what he did.
Man.
What a season.
Yes.
And they started this year off with their line all banged up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, of all the teams that have complained about their health, the Texans did this while piecing together a line for the first 5-6 weeks of the season, losing their quarterback for a couple of weeks because of concussion protocol, and still managed to win the division. What a job by the Houston Texans.
Absolutely. And now for their efforts, they get the best defense in the league and Joe Flacco. They get to come and pay him a visit, but that's okay. Just cash the checks. I mean, that's about an $8 million day for the owner. So NFL delivers once again. The Florida teams went 1-2. And Mark, at the beginning of the year, if we had asked the question, hey, I know what's going to happen, so answer me. 2 out of 3 Florida teams are going to make the playoffs. Who's the odd team out? And one of the 3 Florida teams is going to win their division. Who's it going to be?
Right. The answer would not have been the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Not by me.
Not by me. In fact, Mark, my answer to the last question would have been the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I would have bet large amounts of money.
In fact, David, I only had one team from Florida making the postseason in my preseason picks. That was the Jacksonville Jaguars. I had the Dolphins missing by a game. I had the Bucs missing the playoffs.
3 in a row for the Bucs. 3 consecutive NFC South titles, 4 consecutive years in the playoffs. Todd Bowles gave game balls to everybody. He said, I was just going to give out 1 for the offense, 1 for the defense. But, we just went back to back to back. So everybody gets a game ball. Hey.
Participation trophies in the NFL. Nice job, Todd Bowles.
I think at the end of the year, end of the regular season, here you go. A little something for the effort. Besides, I'm not paying for them. Tell the Glazers I need 50 more footballs. So, Did you see the little clip in the locker room? Tristan Wirfs, then before they go crazy, goes, hey, defense, second week in a row, bailed us out. Offense, we got to pick it up. We got to pick it up. We've been terrible for 2 weeks now. We got to pick it up. That's on us. Okay, big fella. All right.
Well, you've got a team limping into Tampa for that game.
Oh my goodness! I don't know if do the Bucs just have to show up? I mean, could they just run the ball into the line 3 times, punt, and just wait for the Eagles to self-destruct before their eyes? Wow!
You called that, but I don't think you called that.
No, I thought they'd lose, but no. And I did say last week Nick Sirianni's getting fired. Imagine that coming into this season. Hey, the Bucs and the Eagles are going to meet in the playoffs, and one of the 2 coaches after the game is going to get fired. Whoo-wee! This is a crazy league. Nuts. Submit all these storylines, and Hollywood would go, they can't print that. It's unbelievable.
Hell, this league has a movie, a sequel, and a third act all in the same season, David. And none of them make any sense to the movie before. Think the Bills didn't play a trilogy this year?
At least. And for all that they've done and how happy their fans are, now they got to have a postseason or else their fans will be miserable again. Miller and Moulton, we are not miserable. Thanks for listening.
Get set for the thrill of a lifetime with Mud Wheelers Gone Wild at Redneck Mud Park. January 19th through 21st. 3 full days of mud, trails, camping, and more. All for ATVs and side-by-sides only. Friday night is movie night. Ride up and relax. Compete for cash, prizes, and more. With events like our new ATV and side-by-side bounty obstacle challenge, side-by-side and barrel races, and scavenger hunt. Don't miss this family-friendly ATV and side-by-side only event at Redneck Mud Park. January 19th through 21st. Visit redneckmudpark.com for discount tickets and details.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
How was your weekend?
Good.
Oh, sorry. You can hear me, but can't hear me.
Good. How about you?
Solid.
Do anything?
Let me think. Oh yeah, my grandparents got down here, so
Oh.
I hung out with them Saturday and yesterday. They are Naples snowbirds.
Nice. Is this your mom's parents?
Yeah.
Are your dad's parents still alive?
Yeah, they're not together though. They're
Okay,
divorced.
okay.
So my grandpa lives in Arizona, and my grandma still lives in Hemlock. Steelers made the playoffs too. We got a lot to talk about today. Tomlin.
I'm on the road 4+ days. I come home. What do I walk home to? Big thing of tuna mac. Talk about love right there. Thought of Mark.
Wait.
Right away. Used to think of my mom when I saw tuna mac because she used to make it all the time when I was a kid. Now I think of how happy it makes Mark. Oh, look at that. Well, also brown chicken. He was sick, apparently. Had the flu all week. Coach Rick. For the record, 3 times as many votes for the aliens poll question as the how many coaches get fired question.
Not even close.
Yeah, Adam, I didn't understand 3rd and goal inside the 2. And first off, they didn't bring Bigsby in the game. And then Trevor decided to audible to his own play call on 4th down. And as he said afterwards, it's only good if it works. I loved the Jameis Winston audible yesterday. Jameis goes, yeah, he told us not to run it, but we put it to a vote in the huddle. We wanted to run it.
Yeah, I saw that. That was great. Arthur Smith was not happy.
It's Jameis's last play as a Saint, so
yeah,
he doesn't care. He hates that coach. That coach hates him.
Got that right.
It does show you how much, though, the Falcons and Saints hate each other.
Yes.
Okay. That is a nasty rivalry.
Arthur Smith was so
he's already past tense.
Oh, I know, but that whole situation was pretty funny.
Look at Empire putting the Jags in Chargers territory. Whoa! Hey now.
Well, this year, I think that's certainly warranted. I mean, when did we put the X by them?
8-3, right?
Yeah.
Was it a hard X? Or was
yes.
I think it was a hard X. Yeah.
We did the hard X.
Yes.
There was no doubt.
Yep, it was over. Because they owned all the tiebreakers.
Right. Okay, here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Pat Kirwan will join us at the top of the hour. His flight's getting canceled with the weather in the Northeast. So, Tuesday doesn't work for him, but today does. So fine, let's do it. Chris Landry in our 8 o'clock hour to preview Michigan and Washington. Money's coming in on the Wolverines. Slowly but surely, money's coming in on Michigan. They're a 5.5-point favorite now. Opened at 4.5. Wouldn't it be fitting if Washington wins? 10-point dog to Oregon in the Pac-12 title game. 5-point dog essentially to Texas in the semifinal. 5+ point dog to Michigan. What sums up college football more than a team from a conference that no longer exists winning the national title. And yet the Big Ten will claim it and be running programming during the summer.
Would be poetic, to say the very least, to see the Pac-12 champion win the college football national championship in its last year of existence.
Right. Who's the last Pac-12 national champion in football? Wait, the Pac-12 played football? Oh, never mind. So that's a little bit later. We'll talk about it a little bit later. Hey, we have had 17 years we've been doing this. We finally had our first Dewey defeats Truman. We declared the Jags division champions about 6 weeks ago.
6?
Well, I think when they got to 8-3, at 8-3, I think we said, and I mean a hard declaration. NBC News is reporting Al Gore has won the state of Florida. I mean, that type of, it was a hard X. It wasn't the soft imprint into the claret jug. No. It's in the jug.
No, you will see
Jean Van de Velde. Right.
Underneath.
Yes.
There'll be more
Paul
letters.
Lowry. Right.
There'll be more letters as Jacksonville Jaguars is carried out onto the jug.
Right.
Why are all these extra letters on the right side there?
It's going to look, when the Houston Texans raise that AFC South banner, it's going to be like, man, if you look closely, when the light hits it, that looks like a Jags logo. Right. Nope. We were wrong.
Boy, were we ever.
Losing 5 of 6 to end the year. When all they had to do was lose 4 of 6, and they would have been fine. Oof. As Vern would say, oofta.
Well, and it does have us talking in the offseason about whether or not Trevor Lawrence was injured this year or whether or not he's a franchise quarterback. There's no gray area. It's one of the, either he was injured and that's the reason that he played as poorly as he did this year, or the numbers are what they are, and Jacksonville heads into next year not sure if they have a franchise quarterback.
Yeah, you got a guy in L.A. and you got a guy in Jacksonville, and they both are big and strong and have a lot of talent, and most of the league would fall all over themselves to get their hands on them. But their teams are not doing a ton of winning. Not like they should be, right? Not like we think they should be. But my goodness. I mean, if they couldn't win the division this year, I mean, we understand if in the near future Indianapolis gets pretty decent. We understand in the near future if Houston gets pretty decent. And Tennessee's was down this year. This was a transition year for the Titans. We all knew it. I mean, honestly, before the season started, you could pick one team to win their division. The Chiefs would have been tempting because we can't even remember the last time they didn't win their division. But, man, the Jaguars might have gotten the most votes. Out. Huh. And how many of the people listening were thinking about Adam in our Twitch chat room at around 3:45, 4 o'clock yesterday? Who simply signed on to the Twitch chat room this morning with, "Hello, darkness, my old friend, ...
It stings today for a Jags fan because not just the division, David, but the expectations all year were higher than just the division.
Of course. Mark, we did a Monday Night Football game, first one in 12 years, in which they were 8-3, and they were talking about being the 1 seed. They were in a 4-way tie for the 1 seed.
And now you see that every team in the AFC South is trending up, except maybe the Titans, who you can't seem to beat.
And at the same time that the Jags were 8-3, you know who else was 8-3? Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins number
Wild
one.
card.
The Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins. Our playoff game is on Peacock. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We don't run the ball from goal to goal like you've never seen because we don't run the ball in the second half.
No, we don't run the ball. How does the verse go? We don't run the ball. Yeah. We don't run the ball. Yeah. We don't run the ball. Yeah. Are you struggling with the run, coach? We're averaging 8 yards a carry. Yeah. Averaging 8 yards a carry. Yeah. Woo.
I've got to say, you have asked people to come into the Twitch chat room from time to time.
I have.
You've also told people on this show for the longest time that you want to be a Pip. For those of you that don't know what that reference is, that's Gladys Knight and the Pips. That goes back to the 70s. And David, during that last moment, worked in both.
Yep.
He was a Pip. During that terrible verse and chorus.
What are you talking about?
He was dancing and singing.
We don't run the ball. Yeah. We don't run the ball. Yeah.
He is only missing
yeah. We don't run the
a
ball.
light blue
yeah.
tuxedo.
Yep.
And a shirt with ruffles. And I don't mean the potato chip. Although that wouldn't hurt either.
Boy, I'll tell you, you know what? A shirt with ruffles attached would kind of like, yep. So
you missed out. I'm just saying.
Yep. I'll do it again. I take requests. Just, if anybody, if you're going to join the chat room for the first time, let us know. And during a break, I'll do it again. Mark will get up and leave the screen, but I'll do it again.
I don't think Mark can handle doing that rendition of that song.
That was a good one. And by good, I mean
horrendous.
Entertaining.
Yep. There you go.
The best part, I think, was our playoff game is on Peacock.
That was solid.
Thank you. Thank you. Sometimes the lyrics are better than the choreography.
And the choreography, I must say, was fantastic.
So yeah. Whoo-wee. Do you remember when the Eagles were 10-1? Anybody remember that?
It's hard to, David.
I think I was 20 years old.
I mean, they went into Kansas City, beat the Chiefs. Yeah. The Super Bowl went through Philadelphia, baby.
Then it went through San Francisco, and now it looks like it's going through Baltimore.
Correct. But who knows? Maybe it just continues north to Buffalo. We'll see. Now, this league, it is something. So many storylines would get rejected is unbelievable. No, actually, it's the truth.
Pat Kirwan in 30 minutes' time. We'll talk with Chris Landry in the 8 o'clock hour, but the starting five, that is next right here on Miller and Moulton.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Mr. Butte, at this point of the season, I'm all into easier travel. So I could take a leisurely car ride over to Tampa.
Oh yeah, David, is that the game you guys got?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
How about the Lions getting Sunday night football?
I'll be there. I talked to Mark this morning.
Good.
Flying there into Detroit on Saturday, and then I'll be back Monday.
You're not going up Friday? Is it cheaper Saturday?
Yeah, much cheaper. I don't know why, but
it always is if you leave on a Saturday.
Yeah, it's like a third of the price. So I would love that extra night with the family, but
are you flying into GR or are you flying into Detroit?
Detroit, yeah.
How far a drive for you?
From
or are you just going to stay in Detroit?
Oh, I'm staying in Detroit. Yeah. So David, I'm from the Grand Rapids area, so that's like 2.5 hours away from Detroit. So if I was flying on Friday, I would fly into GR, but since it's Saturday, we're going to the Motor City.
And then are you going to Dallas?
Oh my God. I can't even. We'll see. Probably can't afford to with the Hard Rock Bet app taking all my money.
Well, Mr. Butte, once again, the Monday night football game we have figured out going forward will always be a 4-5 matchup. And they do it because they then can schedule the winner of that game playing Sunday so that they at least get 6 days. See, the problem is if you schedule a 3-6 game, what if the 6 seed wins? If you schedule a 2-7 game, what if the 7 seed wins? So this is the third year in a row that Monday Night Football gets the NFC 4-5 game. Then this way, the playoff schedule for the divisional round can be set Sunday night because it doesn't matter who wins the 4-5 game. They'll be going to wherever. If seeding holds, they'll be going to Frisco. If there's an upset, they'll be going to whoever's hosting the other game. I think it's just the way it's worked out, Mr. Butte. I'm guessing that the network would have preferred Philly, Tampa to Cleveland, Houston, but not sure. My guess is, though, for the divisional round, I think we're going to Baltimore. I think we're getting the Ravens on a Saturday. And I think we're getting the Ravens early on Saturday.
How about Paul just preying on Peacock's downfall? I hope the Peacock viewing and sales are awful.
Now, in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and in Kansas City, you'll be able to see the game. What I think we're all curious about is how far will it be extended beyond that? Because it's not supposed to be extended at all. Which technically you wondered, is West Palm even covered? Or are they going to have to buy it? You know, I would think in Southwest Florida, you're going to have to buy it or go somewhere to see it.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the hour. Pat Kirwan joins us at the top of the hour. Chris Landry will join us in our 8 o'clock hour, where we will shift our focus a bit to the national championship game tonight. I don't know about you, Mark. If college football had a commissioner, and you could argue they do, and his name is Greg Sankey. But if the sport had a commissioner, I know the network that televises the game wants the game on Monday night because they do this thing in the NFL called, wait for it, Monday Night Football. But if you were running this sport, would you have the game tonight?
No, I would have it on Thursday night of this week.
There you go.
So I could have 4 days of people talking about my game as opposed to 1 day of people talking about all the coaches in the NFL that got fired, all of the playoff scenarios, all of the week 18 games, and then say, oh, by the way, there's a national championship game tonight.
So I wonder if a couple years from now, because ABC, ESPN, although tonight it's just ESPN. I don't believe the game's simulcast. I believe it's just the 4-letter network tonight. And I know this year we've gotten kind of used to Monday Night Football got put back on ABC because of the writer's strike. But don't be surprised if going forward it all goes back to the 4-letter network. But I'm wondering, Mark, if we get beyond 2025 season and the expectation is Fox and or someone else is going to get into the college football playoff, whether or not this game gets moved. Just a thought.
Well, they will move the semifinal games according to the calendar date.
Right. Like next year, January 1st is a Wednesday.
Right.
Would seem to me as if it can't have the championship game the following Monday, right?
It wouldn't make a lot of sense to me.
So would they then have it, say, Thursday the 9th next year? You know, when you want the game to be held anyway? Just throwing that out there. Right now it is time for...
The Starting Five. 5 stories you need to know. It's the Starting Five on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
If you missed it last night, the Bills do what they normally do to the Dolphins, at least with Josh Allen as quarterback. They win. It was a turnover fest and a bit of a slugfest for 3 quarters. And then the Bills said, we got this. They returned a punt 96 yards for a touchdown. Then Josh Allen led them on a drive and a score. I mean, he did turn it over 3 times, but Tua threw 2 picks. And the Bills win 21-14. They win the East. They're the 2 seed. The Dolphins fall all the way to the 6 seed. The Bucs, meanwhile, won the South for the 3rd year in a row. It was not pretty. They needed a break. Carolina, when it was scoreless second quarter, they're going in, touchdown. Guy gets flipped at the 1, he extends the arm and fumble. That ends up being one of those touchbacks.
Was at least recovered in the end. I mean, this one was, by your rule, okay. Tampa did recover the fumble in the end zone. It wasn't fumbled through the end zone.
That's true. But and then the Bucs, they did just enough. Baker looked hurt. yesterday. That rib injury, he looked like he was playing injured. But he and they gutted it out. 9-0 over Carolina to win the South. Meanwhile, Jacksonville, all they had to do was beat the worst team in the AFC South to win the AFC South. They couldn't do it. Derrick Henry with a big day. The Titans with a rousing effort. And the Jags just choked all over themselves in the fourth quarter with golden opportunities to get the tying score. Tennessee wins at 28-20. Jags lost 5 of their last 6 to miss the playoffs. You know, they haven't had many winning seasons. They did follow up a winning season with another winning season. And yet some are calling it the most disappointing season in Jaguars history. And that's saying something.
Not worst, but most disappointing. And there certainly is an argument for that. Expectations were very high, and they threw up all over their expectations.
Very nice, Mark. The Eagles have thrown up all over the place as well down the stretch. They lost 5 of their last 6. The Giants beat them, and the Giants are lousy, 27-10. The win for the Giants cost them 1 spot in the draft. They were drafting 5th overall before the game. They're now drafting 6th. The Eagles, meanwhile, are playing the Bucs in the wild card round in Tampa. We'll get to the schedule in a moment. The Falcons were up 14-7 on the Saints. And then the Saints outscored them from there 41-3, including a garbage time touchdown when they were in victory formation when Jameis Winston and the Saints in the huddle decided, we're going to change the play. We want this guy to score. They asked the coach, hey, can we give the ball to so-and-so so he can score? The coach said no. Victory formation. Jameis went, okay, went back in the huddle, put it up to a vote. They said, hell with the coach. We're scoring.
So great.
Arthur Smith afterwards, he's mad as hell, and he's not going to take it anymore. Well, the reason he's not going to take it anymore is he's already been fired. Got fired last night. Seattle rallied to beat Arizona 21-20. They finished 9-8, but they miss out on the playoffs. Cardinals, by the way, are picking 4th. Credit to Arizona. Miller and Moulton had them on the clock. They overachieved. Way to go, guys. But the reason Seattle's out is because Green Bay beat the Bears. Jordan Love with 2 touchdown passes. Youngest team in the league, the Packers, won their final 3 to get in. 17-9 over Chicago. Justin Fields, by the way, yet to beat the Packers. That's a really big deal in Chicago. Just letting you know.
What's LaFleur, like 10-0 now against Chicago?
Yeah, well, yeah, he hasn't lost.
Hasn't lost.
Right. To the one team that they want to beat more than any other. Right. Green Bay's the 7th seed, and that's because the Rams rallied to beat the Niners. Carson Wentz outdueled Sam Darnold. Rams 21-20. You know, the Rams won 7 of their last 8, and their only loss was at Baltimore in overtime. Just saying. That's a pretty strong finish to the season. That's half a season. They went 7-1, the only loss to the best team in football on the road in overtime. Rams are the 6th seed. They'll face the Lions. Detroit. Dan Campbell played his regulars. I love Dan, but sometimes somebody needs to protect Dan from Dan. What are you doing, dude? You needed both Dallas and Philly to lose for you to move up in the seedings. That wasn't going to happen. What are you doing? You can't afford to get Goff hurt, Gibbs hurt, Laporta hurt.
Laporta hurt.
Oh, wait, Laporta got hurt. What are you doing playing Ragnow and Hutchinson? And seriously, come on, dude. Detroit beat Minnesota 30-20. Vikings finished 7-10. They lost 6 of their last 7. Lions are the 3 seed. They'll host the Rams. Dallas locked up the 2 seed because Washington lost their last 8. 38-10. Ron Rivera will get fired today, but Washington will have the second overall pick at 4-13. Cowboys finished 12-5. You know, that's 3 years in a row Mike McCarthy's won 12 games. I mean, I know he's a bum and he can't coach. He's a moron. Of course, he's got a Super Bowl championship. But I'm just saying, 3 years in a row, he and they have won 12 games. They better get to an NFC title game, though. I'm just saying.
Thank you.
Do you know every team in the AFC North finished with a winning record? Because Cincy beat Cleveland 31-14. By the way, Cleveland did what Detroit should have done. They didn't play anybody. Browns finish 11-6. They're the 5 seed. They're going to Houston. Cincy's going home at 9-8. Jets finally beat the Patriots, snapped a 15-game losing streak to the Patriots. Barack Obama was president the last time the Jets had beaten the Patriots before yesterday. Jets finished 7-10 for the second year in a row. Patriots with the third overall pick of the draft. Bears, Commanders, Patriots, Cardinals, Chargers. Your top 5 picks of the draft. Speaking of the Chargers, they lost to the Chiefs 13-12. KC ended the year with 11 wins. Vegas beat Denver 27-14. Both teams finished 8-9. For what it's worth, the Raiders went 5-4 under Antonio Pierce. 5-4 under Pierce. Fans were chanting AP, AP as they were walking off the field. Word is Mark Davis wants Jim Harbaugh. And it's a bidding war behind the scenes between the Raiders and the Chargers. Remember, both teams have fired their coaches and fired their general managers. So he gets total control wherever he goes. Of course, one team is Justin Herbert and the other has Aiden Hutchinson. Or O'Connell. Or just Quinn. Or whatever his name is. All right, the playoffs, here we go. Saturday. Cleveland, Houston, 4:30 on NBC. And then who gets Peacock? Miami, Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes, Taylor Swift, 8 o'clock Saturday on Peacock. Browns a 2.5-point favorite in Houston. I thought it'd be more. Chiefs a 3.5-point favorite at home over the Dolphins. Sunday triple header. Steelers and Bills, 1 o'clock on CBS. Bills a 9.5-point favorite. Packers, Cowboys. Oh, Aikman, Favre. Not exactly. 4:30 on Fox. Cowboys a 7.5-point favorite. And then Sunday Night Football. Trent will be there. His Lions hosting Matthew Stafford and the Rams. Detroit's first home playoff game in 30 years. The Lions are a 3-point favorite. Monday Night Football, second year in a row, the Bucs get to host the second-place team in the NFC East in a wild card round on Monday Night Football. Last year it was the Cowboys in Brady's last game. Week from tonight, it'll be the Eagles. And the losing coach gets fired. No? What do you say? Eagles a 2.5-point favorite. Just 2.5. Arthur Smith's already been fired in Atlanta, by the way. So that's 4 new coaches minimum. Because we agreed 3 during the season. And technically, Smith was fired while the season was still going on because the Bills-Dolphins game hadn't gone final yet. So we got 4 now. Wait till how many we have after today. College football national championship tonight. Michigan a 5.5-point favorite over Washington. FCS title yesterday. South Dakota State beat Montana 23-3. They won their last 29 games over the last 2 years. They went back-to-back. Major League Baseball, Wander Franco was released conditionally late Friday. Still no charges. He can leave the Dominican Republic. He has to return once a month just to check in. Have some Pop-Tarts, some Mac salad, then he can go and do whatever he wants. The Dodgers signed Teoscar Hernandez last night. He's a power-hitting outfielder. They paid him $23.5 million for 1 year. I don't know. The Dodgers seem to be spending a lot of money.
Looks like they're all in, David.
I get that sense too, Mark. I do. Magic beat the Hawks last night in overtime, 117-110. For what it's worth, Golden State lost again. They're 2 below 500. Lakers snapped the 4-game losing streak, beat the Clippers. They're still below 500, however. 4 games in the NHL. Here's what you need to know, Mark. Your Wings beat Anaheim 3-2, in case you guys missed it. Late Friday afternoon, Team USA won the World Juniors. 6-2 over Sweden. USA,
Awesome.
USA, baby. And finally, the PGA Tour season's underway. Chris Kirk in Hawaii won the Century by 1 over Thigala, 2 over Spieth. He won $3.6 million. And at 7 minutes before the hour, that was
the Starting Five every weekday morning at this time on Miller and Moulton.
Trent, on the nervous scale of 1 to 10, 10 being you're a wreck. The Lions hosting Stafford and the Rams.
3.
3?
3.
You're that confident? Not 300?
The better team. It's going to be that place is going to burn. Ford Field.
They're the better team.
They are. Are they not? You disagree?
Somebody's feeling it. They are the better team, slightly. I mean,
barely.
I mean,
do they have the better quarterback? Miller and Moulton. Pat Kirwan next. Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Myers.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd, with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few joy stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Morning, Pat. Pat. We can't hear you. But we've got 3+ minutes to figure it out.
Oh, no, he muted himself. Pat, you're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
There it is.
Yeah, well, it's like my third headset. So when you travel as much as me, these headsets get broken. There's another one for the garbage. And I didn't bring everything because I thought I'd be in Florida.
Right.
But where am I? Jersey.
Are you going to have to go into the studio?
Hell no.
Okay. We had just talked about that recently, too. He hasn't been there in, what, 4 years?
At least. But now I have to call you for directions because I don't know how to get there. You've been here more than me.
Go to Radio City Music Hall. Look to your left.
This is a little painful. How can they put that game on Peacock?
$100 million.
Yeah. And a lot less viewers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when they don't post the viewership, we know what that really means. We cash the check. We don't care about who saw it.
To me, I want to know how far outside the local markets they'll lift the blackout. Like Miami, Fort Lauderdale will get the game. Will West Palm? I don't think Collier County will get the game. So,
yeah.
So, how far outside Kansas City?
I don't know. About a mile outside of Kansas City, there's nothing anyway.
Well, there's not much, but yes.
Which empty hill do you want to broadcast on?
It's true.
He's a different guy.
Peacock, the numbers they released when they did the Bills-Chargers game, they said they had 8 million.
That's pathetic.
For
and
the
a lie. CBS will tell you it's a total lie.
So, but yeah, it's a one-time deal. We'll see if they or anybody else will pony up to do more in the future.
Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Black Monday and National Championship Monday, all at the same time. We'll deal with the NFL right now. Pat Kirwan joins us a day and an hour early. He of NFL Radio's Moving the Chains, CBS's NFL Today show, CBS with the Super Bowl this year. Thank you very much. Pat joins us once again, courtesy of Pinchers, Tampa to Key West, dozen locations in between. Pinchers, where you can't fake fresh. Top of the morning to you. We know you're still in the Northeast. How's the weather? You okay?
I'm fine. It's just they canceled my flight, so sitting here and enjoying the Jersey Shore. Something you can relate to. And yeah, I'll get out tomorrow. As it turns out, I could have got out today, and they don't care that I have a radio show from 3 to 7. They wanted to put me like at a 1:45 flight. No, we'll wait till tomorrow morning. So that's that. Okay, here we are. I got a lot of thoughts. First off, how about everyone who says, "Oh, don't draft a quarterback in the first round"? We have at least 8 first-round quarterbacks in the final 12 here. Going to play this weekend coming up. So that's impressive. And then eventually, Baltimore will come in and add another one. But I'm just kind of thinking, Pickett might. I got to ask you, do you think Pickett will play? If no, that would be 9. But we're going to have 8 starters from the first round. You can't pass these quarterbacks in the first round. You can make a mistake, probably get you fired, but you can't pass on them. So once again, first-round quarterbacks hold their ground in this carnival we're going to get to next weekend.
All right, let's talk about one of those first-round quarterbacks that's not playing in the postseason, Trevor Lawrence, and what happened in Jacksonville, because all the talent in the world, supposedly, was he injured this year? Is that what happened? I mean, Pat, they were 8-3, and they're not playing in the postseason.
It was a pretty big disaster late in the game when in the God to have it moment. There were balls thrown out of bounds, high, everything else. He did not look like a superstar. And I don't know, maybe because I was in New York so long, those are the kind of seasons that get head coaches fired. And I'm not here to fire Doug Peterson. And a lot of people say, oh, no, they're not going to. That was a mudslide, a disaster of one. I know before this show's over, David's going to reference the possibility of Philadelphia. And if you're going to fire Philadelphia, how come you wouldn't fire Jacksonville?
I do think the expectations are different. A winning season in Jacksonville is different than a winning season in Philadelphia. What I wonder is, will Trent Baalke walk the plank? That if the owner is this dismayed that he doesn't force Peterson out, but he forces Baalke out.
That's a possibility. I mean, that's the world I lived in. And so you guys, that happens. It never used to. The historic note, they never fired GMs until we had a CBA. Because as soon as we had a CBA, we started paying veterans called UFAs. And before that, you never really got players from other teams. And now you pay them a lot of money. That's a big possibility, to say the least. But back to Trevor. I mean, Trevor was bad his rookie season. We blamed the college coach. Trevor was good the second season. We praised Doug Peterson. The defense didn't play very well. And there were weeks in the middle of the season when we got together 2 days a week, and we kind of liked the way the defense was playing. That started to fade away as well. So I think this, in a lot of ways, Philadelphia was on the same mudslide, and they still are. You got to start putting them. We'll put a microscope on them probably tomorrow, just Jim and I, and just start working. I'll find out what he wants, the defense or the offense. But we got to really study those guys. Where are they going? Look, you've already referenced, and I know you're hoping for 8 terminations, and we'll fight over the Raider thing. There's a spot. Did the Raider situation warrant keeping him? I think it did, but I don't think they're going to keep him. I think he's going to be stuck walking the plank, and that's unfortunate. I don't think someone else is going to reach out and say, "Whoa, let's get Pierce." I think he's going to go right back to the assistant coach world, which is really going to be lousy because this will be the second time Mark made a mistake.
Well, we talked about it. That Harbaugh's the guy that both the Raiders and Chargers supposedly want. If the Raiders don't get him, does Pierce get that job by default, Pat?
I would hope so. I don't care how he gets it. He deserves a shot. I wouldn't give him any more than a 2-year deal. Same thing I said about Bisaccia. 2-year he'll sign it. And then spend all of next season. Give him a chance to have an off season. Give him a chance to recruit free agents. Give him a chance to retain his players. Give him a chance to maybe modify his staff. And then give him a full evaluation. He deserves that.
Last night, the Bills' punt return was huge. All 3 units. The Bills' defense, once again, stymieing Tua and the Dolphins' offense, particularly in the second half. And Buffalo wins their last 5 to win the East.
Awesome. The ice water in Josh Allen's veins is impressive. Interceptions don't bother him. Fumbles, he doesn't get it. He's still shooting his gun the whole time. And you got to admire his competitiveness, if you will, and his talent. But those kind of performances against the Baltimore Raven team would be devastating. Those even against a 49er team in a Super Bowl would be devastating. So he can get away with it at times. His record indicates that he doesn't get away with it all the time.
Talk about Miami. Pat, they were running the ball effectively in the first half. They just completely abandoned it in the second half. What is going on with the play calling of McDaniel?
You know, he was the running game coach in San Francisco. And he worked for a head coach that likes to run the football. What we see eventually of all these guys, these coaches, is who they really are, not their background. Remember, Andy Reid was a line coach. And what did he become? He became a passing game head coach. And when he watches film, he sees passing answers. And I promise you, Mike and his staff, when they watch tape, they see passing answers. And when you have guys like the little receiver, number 10, as we like to call him, you know, you start thinking the passing answers are there. And I also think he knew that Buffalo was going up and down the field, throwing interceptions in the end zone. If those blunders aren't made, you have to look at your defense and say, are we really in a game that could have been 35 points? Do we have to start scoring more to stay up with these guys? Because at times Buffalo was just up and down the field. They didn't care if their start point was the 5-yard line, 95 yards away, no problem. 2.5 minutes, no problem. So I think he looks at his defense and says, we got to keep up with them. Some coaches, old school guys, Mark, would say, oh, let's keep running the ball and keep them off the field. That doesn't work. I love when people say it. It's a nice theory, but these passing guys like Josh Allen, they'll come on the field and hit you right away with a 30-yard post route. So I think the head coach, not to defend him, but I think he realized what he is and what he isn't.
And the only time the Dolphins have beaten Bills recently was a game like last night where the Bills went up and down the field, but the Dolphins got late stops and turnovers and managed to squeak one out. And for a long time last night, it looked like they were going to do the same. Let's go back to Saturday night. How about how many coaches are going to lose their job because of what D'Amico Ryans and the Houston Texans did this year?
Well, you know, I'm a friend of Nick Caserio. I didn't really always agree with how he was building the team with 3 years of 1-year contracts for veterans. So you're not building anything, you're renting players. And I kept thinking he's spinning his wheels and this is never going to come together. But it always comes together if you find an elite quarterback in the draft. Now it's wide open for them. They're going to be a problem. So I sat with J.J. Watt yesterday, and his heart's still in Houston. And it was really great to see how excited he was for Houston. I said, well, you know what? Send a thank you note to Tennessee too, will you please? So the door's wide open for Houston to become a permanent problem for a lot of people because the quarterback's in place. We talk about it all the time. They don't have to give him a lot of money for multiple years. And Nick is a good personnel person. He's going to go out now. He can recruit guys that want to come that aren't 1-year guys. So I love where they're headed.
A lot of awards could go to that team. I mean, Coach of the Year, Rookie of the Year, what they accomplished. But it's, you know, the thank you note to Tennessee goes for a couple teams. Pittsburgh can send one today as well. Just your thoughts long-term on C.J. Stroud.
I just think the S2 test is probably going to have to go in the garbage pail.
Oh, please. Okay, let's bring up Dan Marino's testing as well. You can throw it or you can't. You've got the makeup of a quarterback or you don't. Please, this is not an SAT test. We're not trying to get into college.
Thank you. And there's a lot of things in the world of analytics and testing. I've been involved with a lot of private testing of players, and I can tell you, if you do it over time, you realize they're guessing as much as we are. But Stroud, to me, has the ingredients to be a great player, and I don't want to rush to that level yet. But he, in the hardest moments, the guy will take control of a game. He will march down the field. Did he have a 12-play drive?
Well, and he was 7 for 7 on the game-winning drive. Tie score on the road. They take over deep in their own end. He goes 7 for 7. He overcomes a 2nd and 20 and a 1st and 20 on the drive. The one thing I will say, though, Pat, the big passing play, he had 2 big passing plays. The second one, he threw the ball late down the middle of the field. Okay, a team with decent safeties would have picked that ball off. That's a throw he won't be able to make Saturday against Cleveland.
Yeah, you know what, though? Here's my answer to that. Pick anyone you want, Troy Aikman, Peyton Manning, any of them. And think about who this kid is. He's a rookie. He's a rookie, and he's already achieved every goal possible for a rookie quarterback.
I mean, Aikman joked during the broadcast because he went over 4,000 yards, and Troy said, I don't think I got to 4,000 yards till my 3rd year total. And then we looked it up. We go, no, late in your 2nd year, you got to 4,000. He's like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I would trust his recall of himself. That guy remembers everything.
By the way, you mentioned earlier, the Steelers can't play Pickett. You're on a 3-game winning streak. This is the playoffs. This goes back to Jimmy Johnson kept Troy Aikman on the bench for Steve Berline. I mean, you got a winning thing going late in the year. It's the playoffs. So we'll worry about Pickett and who's our quarterback next year.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just thought I'd throw it out there. But if Rudolph, if Mason starts playing the way he got himself into the 3rd-string quarterback in the middle of the do-or-die game, I bet you see him.
He's Pat Kirwan. NFL Radio's Moving the Chain, CBS Sports Today Show, NFL Today Show, and he joins us twice a week, courtesy of Pitchers here on Miller and Moulton.
Get set for the thrill of a lifetime with Mud Wheelers Gone Wild at Redneck Mud Park, January 19th through 21st. 3 full days of mud, trails, camping, and more. All for ATVs and side-by-sides only. Friday night is movie night. Ride up and relax. Compete for cash prizes and more. With events like our new ATV and side-by-side bounty obstacle challenge, side-by-side and barrel races, and scavenger hunt. Don't miss this family-friendly ATV and side-by-side only event at Redneck Mud Park, January 19th through 21st. Visit redneckmudpark.com for discount tickets and details.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Bum, 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 bum. I hope these owners, before they go out to hire their new head coach, take a good look at the teams in the AFC playoffs and go, "Ooh, look at all these guys from defense."
Let's see. Harbaugh was special teams.
Harbaugh was a secondary coach first.
McDermott was defense. You got Andy. You got D'Amico. He's defense.
That's 3 defense.
Stefanski's offense. Miami offense. And Tomlin defense.
Yeah. 4 from the defensive side in the 7 teams. And now the NFC is all offense except for Todd Bowles. But all these knuckleheads that I have to listen to. Oh, you got to get an offensive-minded head coach. Let's just go. Is D'Amico Ryans doing a pretty good job with his quarterback? Does he have to coach him to help Stroud? No.
Did you see that graphic we put up in the game Saturday? The 5 assistant coaches on Mike Shanahan's 2013 Washington team. A team that I think went 4-12 or 5-11, but I think 4-12. The Texans offensive coordinator, Kyle Shanahan, Mike McDaniel, Sean McVay, and LaFleur.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's when Bruce Allen was the GM, who was a very good friend of mine. And we went to do a camp stop there, and those kids all looked like they were 17.
Yes, we put the graphics of their pictures in 2013 on the board. Mike McDaniel was unrecognizable.
Yes, and here's the funniest. So we're done with the show. I got about 2 hours to kill before I have to go to the airport. And I'm sitting in Bruce's office, and he calls in basically all of them. He wanted me to meet him because these guys are going to be head coaches. McVay will be the first one. Those were his comments. He goes, I need a case of Coors Light. Is anyone here old enough to go buy it?
That's great.
They just looked at him and we can do it. We can, Bruce.
I tell you what, you find that graphic and you tell me which one of those 5 you wouldn't have carded.
That's right. Well, and he was kidding, but when I looked at their faces, I go, those guys coach, are they interns for the summer? I thought they were college kids that were working there. Yeah. That's how trees grow, right? We can go back through the history of football. And you start looking at staffs, Walsh and what he did, Holmgren. How many guys said they coached Brett Favre and got head coaching jobs? How old did John Gruden look when he was coaching in Philly?
Oh, and remember, Gruden tells the story, like one of his first jobs, who did he go pick up at the airport? Was it Favre after they traded for him?
That was his job.
Right.
To pick up.
Right.
I mean, I knew John from his father, who I worked for. But his job was drive to the airport all the time. I keep thinking about the kid who drove for us at the Jets. Go get this guy at the airport. We would never think that he should ever coach anybody in anything. He was very good at going to the airport, but John was doing it and with full intentions of being a head coach someday. Yeah, it's fun. How about injuries? What injuries do you think are the worst for the playoff round this week?
Well, the Dolphins suffered 3 more yesterday. Gabe Davis potentially for Buffalo. Obviously Laporta, TJ. But Pittsburgh had to play TJ though.
They had to. They had no choice.
Yeah.
Laporta and Khalif Raymond. He got hurt too, right? He had a heck of a punt return.
Yeah, he did.
How did I know Trent would know the answer to that? Oh, Trent.
He's
I
going
was into my seat and I was biting my nails the whole time, hoping that no one would get hurt.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, my favorite player, Laporta.
Yeah. I mean, you got to ask yourself. I don't criticize Dan Campbell for it, but there are people wondering, why were you playing all these guys just to move to the 2 seed?
Yeah.
Well, you got to know. I mean, for the Lions, it's a big deal, though.
If only the Eagles had to lose, I would have understood it. But
sorry.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
Our remaining moments with Pat Kirwan, who joins us a day early because of the storms in the Northeast affecting his travel schedule. Pat, once again, NFL Radio's moving the chain, CBS's NFL Today Show, joining us courtesy of Pinchers, Tampa to Key West, all points in between. Pinchers, where you can't fake fresh.
All right, Pat. We've talked about coaches a lot getting fired. We've talked about the what's happened over the weekend, but injuries have reared their ugly head again. We just talked about it at the end of the break, Pat. What injury is it that you're most watching heading into next week?
Well, we're going to talk to Dr. Chow today at 5:00, and hopefully, he'll have studied the video and done what he usually does to determine severity. But One's TJ Watt. They had to play him. That was the point David made. But they had to play him. But that might be as bad as it gets, and that'll have something to do with their inability to succeed up in Buffalo. I do AJ Brown in Philadelphia. Stephon Gilmore, the shoulder. I don't know yet the severity of that one. Khalif Raymond. Who cares about Khalif Raymond? Trent does. I do. That guy's a return specialist, and returns played a big role yesterday, as we know. So those are the ones. I'll see what happens and who else pops on the list. Gabe Davis, Jalen Hurts. I don't think his finger's going to hold him out of course. But you know what we find all the time? Maybe this is a good example of back to Trevor Lawrence. These guys will line up and play. And did you see Baker Mayfield walk off the field? He was hobbling.
Yeah, between the ribs, which I thought affected his ability to throw the ball, and then the ankle. I mean, he played injured yesterday. He didn't play hurt yesterday. I think Baker played injured.
Me too. And he's maybe my favorite story of the playoffs. From where he was on 3 different teams last year, shown the door, goes down there. Todd loves him. Todd was looking for someone that had his energy and the guy's toughness to go out. At the end of the game, when he took his interview, he could barely walk off the field.
And if you really think about it, the year that got him dismissed, if you will, from Cleveland, he played that whole year with a completely torn up left shoulder that he had to put a harness on. I remember Aikman during the game one time saying, you can't throw the ball accurately, with a harness on your left shoulder. And Baker played the whole or 2/3 of the year with that harness on his shoulder. He is tough.
He also, Stefanski told me that year, I'm glad you brought that year up, David, because he went to practice almost every day and insisted on practicing. That guy was never looking for a second off. So he's a great story. It might end next weekend, but he is a tough football player, and he got himself back into this league with his grit.
Pat, we've mentioned it a couple. David keeps talking about Sirianni and maybe being gone. Did Todd Bowles save his job winning the division, or is that still not a foregone conclusion? Because he and Baker, to me, are tied together in their future with Tampa.
Yeah, I think if you are objective, the GM, I think, would be objective. I don't know. Ownership's been impulsive in the past. We all know some of their moments. The ownership, to me, will look out and see. If they see empty seats, they'll fire the coach. If they see full seats, they'll keep the coach. It's economics for them. Todd Bowles, definitely, and I would tell the owners if they were sitting here, get in the locker room after games. Find out how much your players love this guy. And to the year after Brady, look at the years after, plural, after, Brady in New England, the decades after Marino. This is Tom Brady who left here. And they took a giant chunk out of their own salary cap to pay him off to go, right? And this guy, Todd Bowles, who can get by on little, and a guy named Baker Mayfield, who we just talked about, got to the playoffs. You're out of your mind if you fire him. That doesn't mean they won't, because that would mean I think they're out of their minds.
We're talking about a franchise that also took a big cap hit this year for a player no longer with them and found success. How about Green Bay, youngest team in the league? And they had to win their last 3 to have a chance of getting in. They did just that. And he was inconsistent this year, but the final numbers and final result says that Jordan Love's a keeper.
Yes. And Gutekunst and the guys up there, Murph, I love those guys. They got a lot of criticism. People were scared to death of what direction the club was in, and he pulled them out of the fire, and they're in the playoffs. So, yes, a reward. But it does lead me to their opponent yesterday. Justin Fields, when you're done with it, are you still where I am? No option year, and go draft one.
How about this, though, Pat? Is he a more tradable commodity if you pick up the 5th-year option? Because then the team that you're going to send him to has him for 2 years, and they know what the salary is for both years. If you don't pick up the 5th-year option, and you trade him, it could put a much bigger financial burden on the team acquiring him?
Well, the option is due in May after the draft. So, do I have a friend around the league that likes him? People think everyone likes it. Oh, the Atlanta would love this. Come on. So, if I had a friend who said yes, if I called you and said, all right, GMs, I am willing to trade Fields as soon as I get my quarterback in the draft. Give me the time to get ready for this. I'll trade him to you. But if you say you're going to take him, I'll put the option on him so we can do it. Or you could trade him before the draft and you put the option on him.
Oh, can the acquiring team pick up the fifth-year option?
I believe they can, as long as he's in before May.
Gotcha.
After May, you can't. So I don't know what he's worth. And I have a thing. We could probably have this conversation after the Super Bowl. So you tell me what you'd give me, because if you say anything that starts with a 2 or a 3, I'm taking it.
Well, that's the debate that's gone on the last couple of days. Can the Bears get a 1 for Fields, or are they going to have to settle for a package of picks?
He's nowhere near a 1. And sorry about that, Chicago, but you were blessed with Carolina's pick, so you can solve your problem in theory. But I think yesterday's performance has to go into the equation. Mark, would you give a first round pick for a guy who they lost the game? What was it, 14-9 or 6?
No,
me either. When in doubt, there's no doubt.
No, and I was one that I thought yesterday proved a lot to me, because I was torn whether or not you should keep Fields, and if he won yesterday, that might have helped me keep him. I don't know after that performance yesterday, not getting touchdowns, if you can look at him and say he's my guy.
Right. And I think if I draft a guy I think's not ready, but he's the right guy to draft, I might keep Fields to get through next year and not worry so much about getting compensation for him. I might need him so I don't make mistake number 3 of putting them on the field too soon. And he'll play really hard for you next year, because he's thinking, I'm going to be a free agent and I need to be able to convince at least one club that I can play. So I might keep him for my own purposes and be okay with that.
Seattle, New Orleans, Jacksonville, Cincinnati, the 4 teams with winning records that did not make the playoffs. This is the second time in 3 years the Saints go 9-8 and lose out in a tiebreaker. Pete seems stuck now in the whole 9-8 world. Your thoughts quickly on the Seahawks and the Saints. Can they take that next step?
Well, the next step is an official's call, a field goal, a healthy team. I think those 2 teams, and it'll be interesting to see what New Orleans does with their staff and all that business. Lots of rumors flying around about that. I think Pete's team is always competitive, and they'll be hanging around. They might be good enough to win 10 and get in as a wild card, but they're in a division with the 49ers and the Rams, who swept Pete. So I think their wild card status is where it's at for them. With the Saints, you never know. They could always win the division.
He's Pat Kirwan. NFL Radio's Moving the Chains, which is 3 to 7 weekdays, CBS's NFL Today show. He joins us once again courtesy of Pinchers. Pinchers, Tampa to Key West, all points in between. Pinchers, where you can't fake fresh. Pat, good luck making it through the storm. Safe travels. We'll talk near the end of the week.
Yep. Thanks, fellas. Enjoy your week.
Pat Kirwan joining us here on Miller and Moulton.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
The Lions are the second team in NFL history to have 4 guys with at least 10 touchdowns.
Okay.
They also have the NFL record now for most games in a season with a rushing and a passing touchdown. So if they want to beat the Rams, it's got to be a shootout. Just go.
Well, what's his face coming back on defense helps.
Gardner Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I agree, because he actually he made a couple plays yesterday. So
And getting one game under his belt before this one's big.
That was big.
Did you guys see the meme of the Golden Globes last night?
Did not.
Okay.
I didn't see a second of the Golden Globes.
Well, I didn't either, but I saw 2 things on X. One is whoever did the Golden Globes, he said, we will show less of Taylor Swift tonight than the NFL.
Yes. And she glared at him.
She did not lighten up, Taylor. And apparently there was a cutaway of Selena telling Taylor something, like got really up close and told her something, and another friend on the other side of Taylor was listening. And so the meme is Selena telling Taylor the Chiefs playoff game is on Peacock, and then she goes,
I did see that video.
No.
I didn't see that that joke, that punchline.
Apparently every time he made a joke that no one laughed at, he was, I just got the gig 10 days ago. Lighten up, basically, was the line.
Who hosted?
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, okay.
Who was supposed to host?
Ricky Gervais, maybe?
Well,
Joe Coy was the host.
Okay. Ricky Gervais should host every year.
I remember a couple of years ago,
his final Golden Globes, that monologue is
it's incredible. He was like,
I don't care. I don't care.
Thank your God, your agent
F off.
Yeah.
F off. Yep. Golly.
That was amazing.
You are in no position.
Yes. To take the moral high ground
of anything.
Thank you, agent.
If Al Qaeda was coming up with a new series on Netflix, you'd call your agent and say, "Get me on that." Just, God, it was so good.
When did Trevor Lawrence think that he was the stretch guy from the cartoons? How did he think he was going to reach the ball 4 feet?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think they got to have a real conversation about him. They can't move on or anything, obviously, but you got to change your approach a little bit because.
But I'm with Pat. Those last, that last drive, he
that
couldn't.
Last, I will say, I felt badly for him. His second down throw, okay, could have been a bomb for a touchdown.
Right.
Okay, but then his last 2 throws, geez,
weren't even in the neighborhood.
I mean, the 4th down throw is like, what the?
I mean, I do think there's a little bit of that. Everyone was kind of crowning him, and he did have a terrible half in a playoff game last year. Bounced back from it. because winning cures all. But
Jared Goff or Trevor Lawrence
Goff
for the next 5 years.
Goff.
Oh, come on.
Are you serious? Are you serious?
Well, why'd
You're
you ask?
high.
You know what I was gonna say.
No. I don't know what you're going to say. I assume that you can objectively look at something.
I like Goff to run my offense more than Trevor Lawrence. Lawrence is more talented. Lawrence has a higher ceiling, of course, but I would rather, just based off what we've seen,
Okay.
I'd take Goff to run my offense.
What's your offense?
Run heavy. So that's fair. How big do you think the gap is, though? Seriously.
Enough.
Coming
that
back.
could be, put it this way, that could be a poll question.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"22 minutes before the hour, Chris Landry will join us at the top of the hour. We'll begin to switch gears and talk a little bit about, college football's national championship game tonight. Michigan and Washington. It's an all Big Ten affair. Hey, we have a poll question, though, based on that game, right?
We do. In fact, it just went up because we've been talking about other things. So who will win the national championship tonight, Michigan or Washington? It's that simple.
You got 12 hours. Michigan favored by 5.5, but that's not who we're asking. This isn't against the spread thing. This is just who's going to win. Trent Bally is a latest addition to Miller and Moulton. And he is, as you've been paying attention for the last couple of months, he is a huge Detroit sports fan. He and his family, he and his brother have Lions season tickets. They are hosting their first playoff game in 30 years. Sunday night, Trent says he's going. Trent, have you looked at the secondary market at all? Yes or no?
For tickets?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Okay. The cheapest ticket to get in Ford Field right now is $550.
Yep.
Okay. Just
no, I know.
So you're aware of that. You were aware of that before I brought it up.
Yes, I could sell both my tickets and probably cover 2 months' rent here. I'm not doing that. Didn't even consider.
The only thing he even did last night and it was a weird situation for me. My phone was dead. The wife went to bed early, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to put the phone on the charger. I'm going to set the alarm because the odds are, as boring as this Bills-Dolphins game is, I'm going to doze off at some point in the third quarter again, and I want to make sure my alarm's set for the morning. So I did not see the text that I received from Trent at 20 minutes after 10 last night that simply said, was right after halftime when Trent got word that the Lions game was Sunday night. And we had talked about it, and he had said, I want to go. And you and I aren't going to hold him back.
No, not at all.
So he did ask for permission, which was totally unnecessary because we had already granted permission. I'll run the board on Monday. I'll do double duty. Just get an early flight back Monday so you can get the rest of your work done. But other than that, we're good.
So basically, when the game's over, go straight to the airport. Okay, buddy?
Hey, that's the plan. 5 a.m. on Monday morning.
Wow.
Right back at the airport.
So are you saying you're going to be back for the last half of the show? I mean, my goodness. I mean, man, if you're taking the 5 a.m. back to Southwest Florida, we can arrange it. You can be back at 8 o'clock.
Just bring breakfast. That's all we ask.
Back for the bonus hour.
Here it is, 20 minutes past 8. Now here's Trent with the play of the day. Trent, welcome back.
No, in all seriousness, I appreciate you guys allowing me to go. I'm going to have a great time. It's going to be a quick turnaround, but it's going to be unbelievable because like David said, The demand for these tickets is through the roof. Ford Field opened in 2002. This is the first playoff game ever hosted.
Trent, I grew up a Giants fan. I was slightly younger than you. The Giants had not hosted a playoff game since 1963. It was December of 85. They were hosting the Niners. I slept overnight in the parking lot outdoors in late December in the back of a flatbed pickup. Paid the guy $50 to sleep in the back of his pickup because he was one of the first cars in line. And then they let you in by vehicle, and then you ran in and you bought tickets. By the way, you could only buy 4 tickets per person. Mark, I got lower level end zone, $25 a ticket.
Did you use all 4? Or did you just take your grandfather and sell the other 2?
No, I gave them to my grandfather, and I said, bring 2 of your buddies. And
okay.
So four of us went. A day I'll never forget. I was sick for a couple days afterwards, though. In between sleeping overnight in the game, I needed a couple days to recover from, because it was about 10 degrees, wind chill around 0, sleeping on metal,
Which is what it's supposed to be in Kansas City.
Right.
For the Dolphins-Chiefs game. A cold snap is coming through. No snow expected for the game on Sunday because the snow's supposed to arrive before the game, but the weather is supposed to be chilly. And by chilly, we mean really blanking cold.
Right.
Single digits.
Uh-huh. Right. Wind chills maybe with a negative. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm sure the Dolphins will handle it just fine. Because Mike McDaniel will do what you should do in a situation like that. He'll run the ball. Said no one ever. But so Trent, is there a price, by the way? Like if somebody reaches out to you or your brother and says $2,000 a ticket.
Well, then what we would probably end up doing. So we have 4 total.
Oh, okay.
My brother and I, and then we each have an extra seat. So we would probably, he and I would go and we'd sell the other 2. Maybe.
So right now, hang on here. So right now, who's going to the game?
Me, both of my brothers, and my brother's girlfriend, Bailey. Shout out.
So the parents.
Whoa!
The parents are shut up.
Well, that's because it's on Sunday. They wanted to go, but my dad said Sunday can't make it work. It's tough. Sunday night.
All right.
Hold on. Get Dad on the phone. What do you mean can't make it work?
I think he needs to turn in his Lions fandom. I've known your father since I was at least 17 years old, maybe a little bit before that, but I think I met your dad for the first time when I was a senior in high school, when I was 17 years old. So I've known your dad a long time. Your dad has been a Lions fan his entire life.
Die hard.
And he is now not going to their first playoff game in 30 years because he can't make Sunday night work? What kind of fan is he?
I would be willing to bet he might have a change of heart.
I gotta say, there's a girlfriend that gets one of the 4 seats.
Hey, that wasn't the original plan, but like I said, look, there are people, a lot of my friends are going to just come downtown to tailgate, and then they're going to go watch the game at the bar or whatever.
Yeah. I mean,
so
no offense. No, first off, she better end up more than a girlfriend. Okay. Whoever's girlfriend it is, this relationship has to go the distance if you're handing out this ticket to her.
There's no doubt. I mean, is there a proposal in order if the Lions win? I mean, is this relationship perhaps?
But by Sunday night, will she turn into a fiance is what basically Mark wants to know.
Or if Matt Stafford comes in and starts dropping dimes all over the place, is this relationship over?
They've been together forever. She is great. She's a diehard. She's from the East Side. She loves her Lions. I will also say, if the Lions win, the chances of my brother proposing go through the roof. He might be.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. The proposal depends on the outcome of the game.
It doesn't.
We're going to hold on. We're going to let a field goal kicker decide the future of this relationship.
David, this is the same building. I'll be watching it from the same section that we saw Justin Tucker bang through the NFL's longest field goal ever at the buzzer 2 years ago. So I'm not putting anything past what could happen here, but it definitely can't hurt the proposal chances. Let's put it that way.
Listen, I got to admit, I think he needs to propose before Sunday so that no matter what happens on Sunday, at least the relationship is taken care of. Golly. Taking a girlfriend, first playoff game in 30 years. We're bringing somebody who doesn't have a ring on her finger?
This is all very, very, it's still raw. We'll figure it out. I'll keep you guys posted.
I'm just thinking about that really good Bills, that MasterCard commercial with the Bills, and the dad buys him the jersey, and then he's buying the jersey for his kids. I'm seeing this as a commercial moment in Detroit Lions history, should they win the game. If not, it all goes kaplooey.
I mean, with all due respect, keep her home, sell her ticket to help pay for the ring. I mean, please. And when she says, I can't believe you didn't take me, you go, well, this is the reason why.
Yeah, it sounds like she'd rather be at the game.
She'd rather get married. Come on now.
Well, hey, it's only Monday. We've got plenty of time.
That's true.
Lots of time for stuff to develop. You got to hit the hole at some point, but we're still kind of waiting.
I'm going to leave that one alone. I'm going to let
we
that just
should.
marinate right there.
I think we should. Okay. No need to have Trent get us an FCC violation, although, boy, he tried really hard right there. He really did. So $5.50 cheapest ticket to get in to the Lions-Cowboys game. The storylines are ridiculous. So Stafford comes back to Detroit, the whole Stafford golf deal. We got that. How about Green Bay going to Dallas? You know, Mike McCarthy won a Super Bowl as head coach of the Packers, right? You got that whole with all the pressure on Dallas. How about Cleveland and Houston? I don't know, Mark. Do they have a recent trade history?
Trying to think if there are any quarterbacks that went from one team for another and lots of draft picks. And
on top of that, how many Browns fans are Ohio State fans who love Stroud?
Yeah, they don't love him that much. Okay, let's just take it easy. They love him.
If he'd have finished the deal against Georgia, it'd be a little different.
I was going to say he didn't beat Michigan and he didn't beat Georgia. I mean, they like him a lot, but take it easy now.
Well, they're claiming him right now. That's for sure.
They're claiming him. What other Ohio State quarterback they going to claim? They can't.
The last guy just
Burrow.
transferred to Syracuse, for crying out loud.
And then, of course, you got Tyreek, who finally gets his game in Kansas City. And it's going to be 4.
The temperature is going to be his number.
It might be less.
Over under 9.5 degrees Fahrenheit.
I'm going under. A night game in January in Kansas City with a front coming through. Under.
On
Peacock. That's right, Doll fans. Start making your arrangements now, because the understanding that we have is the game gets shown in the, quote, local market.
Which is the Miami-Fort Lauderdale television market.
Right. We don't even think West Palm Beach will be covered.
Based on what I just read in the Palm Beach Post, they make a point of saying the game will be shown in the Miami-Fort Lauderdale market. That leads me to believe that it's not, I don't know for certain, but just judging on the wording of that article in today's Palm Beach Post, I'm not sure if it's on there, David.
And that also means, Collier County, which borders the, Miami-Dade area. Nope, you're left out too. So when we were talking with Pat, though, it is true. I mean, it's tough to find. I mean, a lot of Chiefs fans are in the Kansas City metro. I mean, there's you get 15 miles outside it. There ain't much. It's North Dakota, actually, for about an hour and a half. So, but yes, a playoff game on Peacock.
And I'm just curious. Send us a text at 21,000 if you find yourself or found yourself this weekend every time that they were showing the previews for the playoff games. How many times did you, at least in your head, say
Peacock?
Because I know it's starting to be a little bit of a thing when my wife, who very rarely listens to this show, uttered Peacock.
Really?
Honest to goodness. Nearly fell off the couch.
Wow. Could you imagine how she'd be reacting if her beloved Steelers game was on Peacock?
Oh, she's just all fired up that they're in the playoffs.
Of course. Not going to last much longer, so enjoy it while you have it.
Exactly.
All right, poll question. Michigan, Washington. Yes, the college football national championship games tonight. They really know how to promote that sport. They're going to get a lot of love from all the sports radio around the country. They're not going to be talking about all the coaches that are getting fired today. No, I mean, think about it. Bill Belichick might be let go by lunch. How much love is the Michigan-Washington game going to get?
Could let the NFL have its day on Monday. David and I have always thought this national championship game should be the Thursday leading into the weekend, not coming off of the last week of the pro football season.
Think about it. NFL can get there Monday. College football could have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, maybe Friday morning aftermath, and then we go, okay, all right, now we got the NFL playoff action starting tomorrow. Nope. Idiots.
But Michigan and Washington. Chris Landry will join us top of the hour to break down the game, what the film tells us. Well, what does the film know? Because Chris was pretty certain Alabama was going to beat Michigan.
Well, I think he liked an all-SEC final.
He did.
Instead, we get an all-Big Ten final.
We get an all-Big Ten final. But, I mean, these games were glorified. I mean, what, 2.5 and 4.5 were the spreads? So, you know. But, yep, Chris Landry. What did the tape tell him from a week ago? And how does he like the matchup? Michigan and Washington. We'll turn our attention to it next with Chris Landry here on Miller and Moulton.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few joy stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Morning, Chris.
Morning, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. How about yourself?
Good, good.
Oh, Black Monday is here.
It is. Yeah, it sure is.
Morning.
Morning, David. How are you?
Good, Chris. How's life in the pursuit of happiness?
Oh, it's going. It's a great time of year. It's always fun for the playoffs get started in the NFL. It's always a lot of fun.
It's a nerve-wracking day. You know a little bit about this day.
Oh yeah, no, it's it's a lot of closed door meetings where people disappear, and it's like they come out and it's like a puff. We wait for that puff of smoke, It's a tough day, and it's I relate to this more, but when your fate is decided by what's happening in a meeting that you're not a part of is just it's immense pressure, and I'm not married, but you have you see coaches in there, and you pick up the phone and don't know anything yet, dear. They're talking to their wives and they hadn't heard anything. It's a tough day. It's why I don't mind them making a ton of money, because it's security in coaching doesn't exist.
No, it's one of the things that, when I was working in minor pro sports and minor hockey, GMs were tied to everything in the front office. If a GM went, the broadcaster could get fired. I mean, because everything, now there's such a separation between operations and business side that doesn't happen the same way. But I know exactly, your buddy that's a GM gets blown out. It's like, uh-oh, what happened to me? Am I gone too?
Exactly right. No, it's no doubt, that's why I have such admiration for, somebody like the Steelers. They just, the consistency and who they've had there. People know the coaches, but they're people that have been in personnel that just, I saw them grow up as interns, and now they're getting ready to retire, and they have a lot of consistency and stability, and you just don't. They're the
gold standard.
They're the gold standard, and they're just they're the unusual element. I mean, you just don't see that.
Right.
Here we go.
Don't see them.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It's our third and final hour along the network on this Black Monday and National Championship Day, all at the same time. And Chris Landry has experienced both in his career in pro and college football. Chris of Landry Football, LandryFootball.com. Follow him on X at Landry Football. Chris, a belated Happy New Year. Welcome back. When we last spoke, you were leaning Michigan, Texas. Obviously, we know what happened. So when you looked at the tape, what did you see that surprised you the most?
Well, and you were the one that were leaning Michigan. I kind of thought Alabama would get him, and I was wrong. And particularly how the game played out impressed me. I can't tell you, I'm beyond giddy with this matchup. The contrast in styles fascinates me. You got Michigan's, physicality, going to want to run the football. They're going to want to take the air out of the game. They're going to want to win it 24-21, 27-24. Washington is going to want to light it up, go up and down the field, make it fast-paced. But Washington, they get into their offense better than anybody that I've seen. And what I mean by that is you can take certain things away. You can't take everything away. I think there's a couple of things that are going to be pivotal. I think that Washington's offensive line, while very good pass protectors, the tackles are much better than the interior three. Look for Michigan to do some of the things that they did against Alabama, although it'll look a little different. You've got to disguise things with Michael Penix. Penix gets the ball out quickly, and I think you got to pressure him up the middle. So can Michigan do that on that side of the ball? And then I think, can Michigan run the football, which I know they can, but they'll stay patient with it. This is one of those games where they'd love to do what they did against Penn State, like just not even throw it. I don't think they're going to be able to do that. So does Washington get ahead and get like 13 ahead, and then Michigan has to get away from the run? Big advantage, Washington. Does Washington not get as many possessions, and maybe that affects them? Look, I think it comes down to, like any big game, mistakes. I thought Michigan handled Alabama, and mistakes really kept Alabama in it. And Washington were very close to putting Texas away, and they had that muff punt, and then it just kind of it became a game again. So, like anything else, it's going to be about those little things. Who can avoid the mistakes? I really believe in big games. It's not about the big plays you make. It's about the plays you don't make, and who plays a cleaner game. I'm fascinated by it. It's going to be tough to stop Washington's offense for 4 quarters. Can Washington's defense hold up to Michigan's run game? And their success in the passing game obviously comes out of the fact that they're able to run it so well.
Penix, when he has time, is incredible. I'm not worried about Penix. When he has time, and we watched it in the game against Texas, when the pocket was there, he was able to find receivers. He's a great deep ball passer. But what really impressed me about Penix in that game, Chris, is when there was a pass rush, he was able to slip out and step forward in the pocket and make throws. Michigan, when they rushed Alabama, all that pressure that you just alluded to came where? Right up the middle. So where does Penix escape if Michigan has a good pass rush?
Well, the way he escapes, he'll deliver the ball out, which Alabama couldn't do. One of the things that I thought that I didn't see anybody do it, and what really got me thinking, how is Michigan going to do it when I thought Georgia was going to beat Alabama, and they couldn't because Alabama, no one's been able to tackle Jalen Milroe. You just described very well what they were able to do. Alabama couldn't throw the football. You take the run game away from Jalen Milroe, and they're not going to be successful. The difference is, yeah, you got to protect him. You got to push the pocket, but he can escape. He can run wide. He can throw in the move, and he can flick it very quickly. And so his ability to decipher and throw it accurately is incredible. The key is not what happens after the snap. You have to beat Penix before the snap. The only team that did that, I went back and studied the tape late last week. The team that did the best job was Arizona State. They gave him more pre-snap looks, and it kind of took away where he wanted to go with the ball. You can't just pressure him. You got to take away his outlet and pressure him so that he has nowhere to go with the football. And that they did the best job. It was the worst game he played. And we'll see if Michigan can replicate that. And the other thing that's interesting, too, is what is the coaching matchup? What adjustments do you make? Yeah, I think in this game, we often, a lot of times people forget about it. I know you guys don't, but you got a whole month plus to prepare for the semifinals. You got a week, 1 week. And the last time we've played exactly 7 days from the semifinals was the Georgia-Alabama. They pulled, Hurts and put Tua in game. I mean, and both of these teams are coming a long way, less preparation time, although the film work has been done prior to this game. It's how many adjustments you're going to make. You're going to have to live a lot about who you are in this game.
He's Chris Landry, Landry Football, LandryFootball.com. Follow him on X at Landry Football. By the way, quick sidebar, your thoughts on Penix just as a prospect, now that you've now watched most of the film on him this whole year with Washington. First off, I think at least 2 of those receivers, if not 3, are NFL receivers, so he's at that advantage. But do you like him as a prospect, or do you think he's just a great college player, not sure about Sunday?
I don't like him. I love him. I mean, I think Caleb Williams and I think Drake May will be good potentially. This guy to me is special. Yeah, he's got great receivers. That contributes to the explosive numbers. His ability to place the ball, he anticipates exceedingly well. He's got these big oven mitts for hands. So, he can spin it and flip it. Like Michael Vick-ish, but with more accuracy. Pinpoint accuracy. Deep, sharp, and the guy can move. Now, they've tried to limit him moving a lot, but that's what he lived on. The only thing that I worry about with him is his past history, injury-wise, coming to him, because he's overcome a ton of injuries and surgeries. This guy's special. If I were, this is a guy that I would want to build my team around. So I couldn't be more effusive in my praise for this guy.
All right, let's go to the other side of the ball. You and David have both mentioned if Michigan could play this game the way they did against Penn State and just run it, they probably would. Well, Washington knows that. They're going to put 8 men in the box. They're going to try to eliminate the run game as much as possible. Can they?
I think they can. I think that they will cause some problems. They are very active. They're very aggressive. I think that you cannot get Michigan out of their run game because that's what they want to do. I think the only way you do it is with your offense and you get such a big lead and, the time element of you just have no choice. That's the only thing. They'll stay committed to the run. They'll run it. Look, I think that Michigan will run. Michigan will score. Washington will throw. Washington will score. I think Washington's run game, Dylan Johnson's ability to run will be a factor. Look, when I went back and looked at Texas, Washington, I thought the biggest problem Texas had, they got away from the run too much. They made some mistakes. They panicked a little bit, and Michigan's not going to do that. So I think Michigan is going to stay with the run, and the key to success in the run game is not how many yards you get. It's how many carries you run. That is the definition of pounding the rock. And then you pound it 100 times and it does nothing. And then the 105th time it shatters. That's what Michigan wants to do to you. So I think that they will have some success slowing down Michigan at times, but they're going to stay with it. It's just like they didn't run all over Alabama. But in the fourth quarter, Michigan was the bully in that game. That's what they want to be here. And they're going to stay committed to it. So if they've got a chance in the fourth quarter to win it, they're going to want to win it at the line of scrimmage because that's where they've got the advantage.
If Washington wins the national title, does it change the narrative as to the type of team you have to win the title, if you know what I mean, Chris? Because the thought, Georgia's just won back-to-back titles. Nobody was better at the line of scrimmage. If Michigan wins, my feelings. Most people will conclude they were the best at the line of scrimmage of any team in the country. But if Washington wins the title, this is basically you get a quarterback, you get 3 receivers, and in the modern game, okay, you can't beat that. Because, I watched Oregon State pound it on Washington, if you know what I mean. So if Washington wins, does this change how you can build a national champion?
David, I think what's changed is not the style of play. I think what's changed is the lack of depth that the elite programs that we always look at the top are not going to have in today's NIL transfer portal world. Think about this for a second. So, this is think about Alabama unable to snap the football all year long, and they don't have anybody to go to. Because trust me, if they had somebody they could go to and block, they would have. That's never happened. There's no depth. So I think that, look, I think it doesn't. To answer your question, if you can get Michael Penix and that trio, and actually those 4 receivers, bring them on. I like my chances of winning. That's a great formula if you can get there. But let me tell you, I think there are other ways to do it. And I think that, if Georgia had not made as many mistakes, they may have been able to win it because they were a little bit more balanced. So I don't necessarily think it's that. I think that the offensive productivity, the passing game, I think you have to have that, yes. But I think a mobile quarterback helps you. But I think there are different ways to do it. I just think that the depth is going to even things out. And quite frankly, much like in the NFL, you get to the playoff run and we get to the 12 teams, who's healthy, who gets some breaks health-wise, there's going to be a big drop-off at times. Whereas in the past, there was not the big drop-off when you had to put in, your backup guys.
Who do you like tonight?
30 seconds.
I'm going back and forth. Something tells me Washington might get it done, but I don't know. I'm going back and forth on it. I haven't been good at picking. I thought Georgia would beat Alabama. I thought Alabama would beat Michigan. So heck, what the heck do I care? I'm just excited about it. But I push comes to shove, I'd probably go with Washington.
All right. Chris Landry, Landry Football, LandryFootball.com. Follow him on X at Landry Football. Chris, we can tell you're fired up. Have a great day and evening, and we'll talk soon.
Hey, thanks so much. Appreciate you guys. Take care.
Chris Landry, we appreciate him, and he's joined us for many a year here on Miller and Moulton. We'll react to what Chris had to say and Trent Bally with the play of the day next.
Get set for the thrill of a lifetime with Mud Wheelers Gone Wild at Redneck Mud Park, January 19th through 21st. 3 full days of mud, trails, camping, and more. All for ATVs and side-by-sides only.
Friday night is movie night.
Ride up and relax.
Compete for cash, prizes, and more. With events like our new ATV and side-by-side bounty obstacle challenge, side-by-side and barrel races, and scavenger hunt. Don't miss this family-friendly ATV and side-by-side only event at Redneck Mud Park,
January 19th through 21st.
Visit redneckmudpark.com for discount tickets and details.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Which is a really weird position to be in as a Lions fan, but that's 100% the case. I'm with you.
I've realized the Dallas Cowboys are probably my least favorite NFL football team.
Yeah.
Wow.
See, mine are these are bottom two for me. Packers, Cowboys. So,
I like when the Cowboys lose.
I love when the Cowboys lose. Although my favorite Cowboy ever, Troy Aikman.
Yeah, what'd he ever do?
I can't believe 29% of you don't believe in aliens.
That's the number.
Yeah.
So if you were a network programmer and next year your choice is Michigan State at Maryland or Iowa State at Iowa.
Say that again.
So you're running a network.
Yeah. These games again are
Michigan State at Maryland, Iowa State at Iowa.
Iowa State at Iowa.
Michigan State and Maryland. More points.
You're running a network. You only care.
Well, if I'm running a network, I don't want to put the game on.
Yeah.
I understand.
Is there a
no?
A10 game available?
I asked you for a reason. Okay. Fox that week will have Texas at Michigan. Okay. NBC might be tied in with the Northern Illinois Notre Dame game. I have a feeling CBS's choices are going to come down to Michigan State, Maryland, or Iowa State, Iowa.
Here we go.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"21 minutes past the hour, third and final hour along the network anyway. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. So far, just the one NFL coach has been fired, although technically he was still fired while the Bills and Dolphins were playing. So you could argue 4 coaches got fired during the season, but they waited till after they lost to the Saints before firing the Falcons' Arthur Smith. So that's 4.
Ron Rivera expected to be fired later this morning.
That's 5. Bill Belichick meeting with Robert Kraft.
I'm under contract.
Who we playing next week? Because we're on to them, whoever it is.
Nobody. That's who you're playing next week.
We're on to next season. We're on to the fall. We're on to training camp.
Oh, he just said I'll meet with Mr. Kraft at some point, he said. Just funny because the New England media has been like announcing the day, the time, and the location all week.
And every network had to do their piece on Belichick and pregame and postgame shows. Didn't want to get caught without having a farewell in case it is one.
Right. It's awkward, having worked for a couple of news agencies, when you have to edit someone's obit while they're still alive. And the only thing, and you do the whole thing. And the only part you're going to change is he was 93. That's it. That's the part you change. Because when you put that sucker together, they were however many years old. And then it's kind of like, oh my goodness, Dom DeLuise died. Go to the back, get the obit. No. You got to watch it once. You got to make sure we didn't miss anything and we got his age right.
We did get a texter who was upset about the Bucs game being on Monday. As to why the Bucs on Monday, David. And you kind of broke that down earlier. The 4-5 games, it's inevitable that one of the 4-5s is going to be a Monday.
That's what we have figured out very quickly. It's because the NFL wants to set the divisional round schedule as early as they can on Sunday. And so during the Sunday night game, they want to be able to say for everybody, all the teams, here's the schedule for next week. And what they want is they want to have the one game left is what? 4 versus 5. So it doesn't matter who wins. They already know what the matchups are going to be. We will have played the 2-7, 3-6 games in both conferences. That's where if there's an upset, since they reseed, it determines who the 1 seed's going to play. So if there's not an upset, we know the 1 seed's waiting for the winner of Monday night in that conference. 2 is playing 3. If a 6 or a 7 has 1, then we know they're playing the 1 seed, and the remaining top seed is waiting to play the winner of Monday night. So that's why this is the 3rd year of 17 weeks and 7 teams per conference. This is the 3rd year that Monday Night Football has had the NFC 4 versus 5 matchup.
We did something a little unusual today. We had a poll question up without having to discuss it on air. For this show, that's an accomplishment.
It is.
And no one is happier about it than Mark Miller.
Got that right. But first, before we get to today's poll question, we've got to review, because we had 2 poll questions on Friday. We had David's poll question of 3 coaches have already been let go. How many coaches will get fired this season? 6, 7, or 8. We're already at 4. 7 was the winner with just under 43%. But that was one of 2 poll questions on Friday, because there was a report that there were aliens at a mall in Miami. To which we simply asked, do you believe in aliens? 71% of you do. That got 3 times the vote of the coaches question. Today's poll question, back to sports. Who's going to win the Natty? Right now, early voting, Washington with 53% of the vote, Michigan 47% of the vote.
And I think that's a heart over.
I voted for Michigan.
Pick. Yeah.
And I'm not rooting for Michigan.
I voted for Washington, but I think this is, you guys have used the analogy all week.
Stop it. Hey, stop it. You're too young. You're still too biased. We asked you a question during the break. Who would you take, Trevor Lawrence or Jared Goff, for the next 5 years? And you said Jared Goff. Okay, please. All right, you got your Lions t-shirt, your Lions hat on backwards. I mean, you love your team so much, you can't see the forest from the trees. You can't.
You should just wear a mitten and go out in it. You should get a big zip-up mitten with some eye holes in it and just wear that around and pointing to Grand Rapids. That's where I'm from, everybody. Here, right here. This is where I'm from.
And you hate Michigan so much, they literally could be playing William and Mary tonight. You'd pick William and Mary.
No, I think Michigan's going to win. I'm rooting for Washington.
Oh, okay.
Therefore, I voted for Washington. Hey, gotcha. Chris Landry thinks Washington's going to win, for what it's worth.
Yep, he did. He had Bama, Texas in the final. So, I mean, we all don't know what we're talking about. If this sport has proven one thing, okay, the whole best team. Nobody knows anything in college, okay? Please stop it. Stop it about who the best teams are. We don't know squat. None of us do. Ever. Stop it with the best teams. You don't know squat. We do best resumes. That's how we pick the playoff teams. That's how we should always from this point forward.
Time now for our Molly Maid play of the day. Trent, what do you have for us?
Dolphin. Don't turn us off, but maybe plug your ears for a minute. We're going to Miami. It's winner take all in the AFC East. Winner gets the 2 seed, not just the division title. It was kind of hanging in the balance a little bit until this electrifier in the 3rd quarter.
Back-to-back possessions. Jake Bailey with a big punt. Sends Deontay Hardy all the way back to the 5. Has some space. Takes off. Look out, Hardy. Gets a block downfield. Hardy's going to go. He's at midfield. Nobody's going to catch him. Deontay Hardy, 95 yards.
Mike Tirico on the call. The official stat, I believe, was 96 yards to the crib. Ties it at 14, and the Bills didn't look back. Make that 4 straight division titles for Buffalo, kind of like the 4 straight Super Bowls they went to in the 90s, none of which they won. They'll host the Steelers on Sunday.
Wow.
Wow.
I had to do that for the Dolphin. I had to throw in a little bit of a dig at the
Wow. Was that necessary?
I don't think it was necessary. You spoke affectionately of the Bills fan on the show many a time.
I love it.
And you just threw a gut punch at it.
That was for the Dolphins.
Oh, well, just take it easy there, big fella. There's no sense. We can alienate enough people on our own. Don't you start. You're supposed to be the nice, likable guy. That's your role. and show up at 5:30
I
every
think that
day and
scored
accept
me
$7 a show as
That scored me
compensation.
points with the Dolphins fans. That's all I'm saying. I think that helped my case right there.
Yeah, with Dolph fans. Yes,
Yeah.
that's true. That's
The
true.
Florida Sports Network, baby. There's your Molly Made play of the day.
That is our Molly Made play there. You know what I heard, what I've seen on social media over the weekend is that the Bills Mafia is getting a lot of grief, and I will turn on them for this if I find more evidence for it to be true. They are apparently horrible tippers.
What?
Bills Mafia is cheap by all accounts. Literally, people that I know that are performers in Florida were like, yeah, they invaded this bar and nobody tipped.
Oh, that's awful.
That's a tough look.
You can't do that. Can't do that. Come on now. If you're going to travel well. Two things. First off, Ron Rivera's apparently already been fired. When I knew I was getting fired by this TV station, they wanted me in at 8 a.m. and I literally told them, no, I'm going to sleep in and I'll come in and get fired before lunch. And apparently Washington's already hired a bunch of former executives to lead them on their chase, which I don't understand, Mark. All they have to do is call Bill Belichick.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
You know, every now and then I get a real kick out of every now and then I get a real kick out of some of the Twitch chat room usernames, and I think Bad Golfer 101 is my new favorite. Just throwing it out there. Bad Golfer. It's funny.
Thank you, Grizzly.
So which coach that's been fired so far do you think has the best chance to get another head coaching job, if any?
Rivera's done.
I don't think Arthur Smith will ever get another head coaching job.
No.
Reich might. If you give it some time. Maybe 2-3 years, someone will hire him.
And the Panthers blew out their GM, too.
They did? Okay. Yeah, Johnny, that's the big debate. We'll see. I think Bowles needs all the style points he can get in the playoffs because, like Pat and others have said all week, it's like you never know with this ownership what they're going to do.
Slow down, D.
McDaniel should be on the hot seat. They should move on from Tua. What are you laughing at?
Just a very disturbing meme.
Oh, dear Lord.
How about Pat McAfee? How funny is that we're talking about that article and you're like, you point out that what's his name from the Post says he's never finished a contract.
Here we go.
Never finished a contract.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"22 minutes before the top of the hour. Final segment along the network on the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Our picks for the weekend, we post them all the time on floridasportsnetwork.com. Mark with another winning week. Had a solid year. 3-2. I had an out-of-body experience this weekend. I went 6-1. With that in mind, we have to make our picks for the national championship game tonight. I have thought Michigan was going to win the title the whole season. And here they are, 14-0. I think Washington can beat them, though. I do. I mean, this to me will not be like when TCU beat Michigan last year, and I was genuinely surprised. I definitely think Washington can win. And Mark, that defense for Washington has found a way to do just enough so many times. Twice against Oregon, against Texas. They won a couple of close Pac-12 games also in which that defense, which at times can look really vulnerable, manages to bend but not fully break. So I do think Washington can win. And tell you what, Mark, what's the over-under? In the 60s, I would think? Low 60s?
Bear with me. I wasn't ready for that question.
I think.
And therefore, I did not have it up. So let me just get it quickly. It is 56.5.
I would play the first half over tonight. I would. I think we're going to get points early. I think Washington's going to do damage early with the passing game. I do. And I think Michigan will slowly begin up front to just take the game over when Washington has the ball. But I think I'd go over first half tonight. And I'd probably go over for the game also. Spread's 5.5. Ooh. Tell you what, Mark. I'm gonna
middle this one?
No, I'm gonna triple it. I'm going first half over. I'm going over for the game, and I'm gonna lay the 5.5. Give me the Wolverines, 35-28.
I'd like to sit here and tell you that I went back and watched all the Washington games to give you a better perspective, but I didn't. When I watched Washington this year, Penix was amazing. When I watched him in the national championship semifinal, Penix was amazing. What I'm curious about, and it's what I asked Chris Landry, and that's why I asked the question that I did, and that's that I didn't like his answer. It wasn't the answer I was looking for. When Michigan gets pressure up the gut of that Washington, if they can get pressure in the middle and push that pocket back, where does Penix go? Because Penix had an eternity for most of that game against Texas. He was able to sit back there and throw the ball and pick out his receivers. I don't think he'll have the ability to do that. And where are his escape lanes to still throw the ball? We'll be able to move to the side and be able to make plays. I don't know if he will. He'll make plays, but I don't think he'll make enough of them. I think this is Michigan's game to win. The points, I wouldn't bet this game and lay the points. I think it's going to be closer than that. Give me Michigan 33-30.
Ooh. Ooh. That would be entertaining. That would be worth the proverbial price of admission there.
Hurts to even say that out loud.
Come on, you haven't had to say it out loud for a quarter century.
Never have I wanted to be more wrong on a pick.
I mean, every quarter century, your arch rival can win a title, right? I mean, come on. That means you'd be nearly 80 the next time they get a chance to win one of these again. Come on, you'd take that. You'd sign up for that right now. First off, it means you get to 80. All right, right there, you got to sign the deal. As your friend, I have to urge you to sign the deal.
I will sign that deal to get to 80.
But what's it been? 26 years since they won the title. 26 more gets you to the big number there. Let's come on, sign the damn contract. Of course, that'd be a tough pill to swallow near the end, though. That would be a tough one. But hey, sacrifices one has to make.
But Michigan gets it done. Jim Harbaugh becomes a new coach of the Las Vegas.
The word is it's Raiders-Chargers competing for him.
He'd be perfect as the Raiders head coach. He really would, David.
Yeah. I'll bet you keep Pierce, too, in some capacity. But, all right. So, Ron Rivera's already been fired this morning. So, that's 5. Scott Fitterer, the GM in Carolina, that was a foregone conclusion. He's been let go. Remember, Rivera basically served as GM in Washington. They blew out the whole regime with the Chargers. They blew out the whole regime with the Raiders. Antonio's the interim head coach. And now the whole regime in Carolina's gone, coach and GM. So, of the 5 jobs that are available right now, Mark, 4 of them also include new general managers. Carolina, Washington, Raiders, and Chargers. Belichick's supposed to be meeting with Robert Kraft this morning. Bill did answer one question in which he was asked, would he be willing to give up control of personnel to continue coaching? And he did say yes. Now, let me ask you this now, Mark. That's just something we didn't think he'd say in New England. We thought he might have to say it post-New England, but he wouldn't say it in New England. If you're Robert Kraft and Bill's willing to now let someone else pick the players, would you keep them?
Yes, I would. Bill, the GM, is making Bill, the coach, look really bad.
Yes, he is.
The stat that you pointed out on Friday, that it's been how many years since they've re-signed one of their top three round picks?
The last player that the Patriots drafted in the first, second, or third round who got a second contract from the Patriots was a third-round pick in 2013. Now, obviously, the last 3 or 4 years, well, 3 anyway, post-pandemic, nobody's yet up for a contract renewal. But, I mean, still, that's a 7-year record there, 2014 through 2020, which is like, holy mackerel. Yeah. So there you have it. Mike Vrabel's meeting with Titans ownership today. Now, a lot of this stuff's just formality. This is what you do. But, there's been talk about Vrabel in Nashville, and has he and they run their course in the future, and do they need to go separate ways? The new owner of the Commanders, did you see what he did this morning?
Hired the former Warriors GM.
Now, remember, Josh Harris owns the Nets and the Devils and the Sixers, right? He's minority owner of the Devils and the Sixers. So he's got NBA background in him. Bob Myers, who was the president of the Golden State Warriors, and Rick Spielman, former GM of the Vikings and Dolphins, he hired the two of them to help him replace, the whole GM coach thing.
It's his own personal consulting firm.
Right. And when you're a multi-billionaire, you can afford to, say, hey, can I hire you for the month? Yeah, sure. 50 grand. Oh, done. Don't even worry about it. You want that in advance or? So Rick Spielman, an NFL guy, Bob Myers, a proven NBA guy, to help the owner pick his first coach / general manager. I'm a fan of stuff like this. Like just because he's a basketball guy, I mean, we've talked about it. Leaders of men know other leaders of men.
Well, and give the owner credit. He's had success in other parts of life, yes, and he's got pieces of sports teams, but he's now not relying on himself,
right,
to make this decision. He's looking into sport, into people that have had success, and saying, "Help me pick the right guy."
Now, our understanding is he's just, paying these guys for like 4 to 6 weeks of service here. Then eventually he's going to have a new coach and or general manager, and then that's it. It's kind of like, hey, thanks for your time. Keep in touch. So we'll see. I mean, Spielman didn't have a good run with the Dolphins, had a good run with the Vikings. I thought his personnel record, he can run for office on that record, so to speak.
And he needed to rebound after what he did in Miami.
Yes, absolutely. So that's some of what's gone on this morning.
Our poll question is, who are you picking to win the national championship? It's about a 50-50 split right now. Miller and Moulton both picking Michigan.
If you, is there a coach / general manager combo that you would fire for Jim Harbaugh? Like the Bears. Would you blow it up? I mean, you hired this GM who hired Eberflus 2 years ago. Would you blow it up for Harbaugh?
I would. Yes, okay. I would.
Because you'd have to. All right.
But he's won everywhere he's been.
Okay. Well, that's why I'm asking.
And you haven't. And you're not.
Correct. And obviously we all know his history with the Bears, right? But I'm just, wondering.
Yeah, I would in a heartbeat.
Okay. By the way, there was a report late yesterday that because Pat has said on this show, listen, the Steelers are going to offer Tomlin a contract extension. That was before they even won Saturday and made the playoffs. It's like, listen, the Steelers are going to continue to be the Steelers. There was a report late yesterday, though, in which kind of what I've been hinting at. Not sure Mike Tomlin's going to necessarily stick around in Pittsburgh. There was even talk that Mike might want to take some time off. And also there was a report that his wife loves LA. Huh. Which of course brings the whole Chargers into play here.
Someone loves LA? I haven't heard that in 30 years on a bad song.
I was going to say, I've got visions of Magic Johnson and the Lakers doing a bad music video. Yes. But
would you if you were Chicago for Harbaugh?
Yes. He's nuts, though. He's very tough.
And I don't want him to leave Michigan. I think he's gone.
Right. Oh, no, I think he's gone, too.
Let me be perfectly clear. I hate the University of Michigan with every fiber in my being. Jim Harbaugh should be the Michigan football coach for life. He is perfect there. Everything about it is terrific. What he has done bringing that program back is great for college football. Jim belongs on Saturdays. It's just not going to happen. And it sucks. And this is coming from someone who roots against them. He deserves to be there forever, but it's not going to happen. The system pushed Harbaugh back to the NFL, and he ultimately wants to win a Super Bowl. Particularly if he wins tonight, he's gone. But I don't think it matters either way.
I don't either. I think he's gone too. But yeah, if I would, because I'm not sold. I will say the GM of the Bears, made a nice, draft day deal last year. Look at what it's got him. And he's got his own pick, and he's got Fields who he could get assets for. Is Matt Eberflus all of a sudden a coach that Bears fans are willing to accept if they get a different quarterback? One more good draft. They also have about $40 million they can spend. Bears.
No one trusts anybody in Chicago to spend it properly.
No, they don't. So we'll see what else happens today. Carolina's GM got fired. Washington's head coach, who also served as their GM, he got let go. So we got 5 head coach openings and 4 GM openings, and we're not even to 9 a.m. on Black Monday.
Who's going to win the Natty? That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, FL Sports Network on X. When we come back, it's the bonus hour, brought to you by the Diamond District right here on Miller and Moulton. Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
I must say, these 3 hours went by really fast this morning. We're in the 8:30 segment, and I was like, oh, God, it's the last segment along the network. We're almost done.
Now it's your guys' favorite hour.
Love it. Yeah, but the other side of that, Adam, is when you get San Francisco and Baltimore in the Super Bowl, or actually Baltimore and Dallas, that'll do a monster number.
Here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the Diamond District bonus hour on this Black Monday and National Championship Monday, a day in which the entire football world dominates. All the goings-on in the NFL. And, oh, yeah, 10.5 to 11 hours from now, the city of Houston plays host to not their final football game of the year, but it is Michigan and Washington. For Michigan, it would be their first national title since 97. For Washington, what was the title they split? Was it 91? 90 or 91? I think both years were split titles. I think 90 was Georgia Tech, Colorado. Washington split the 91 title with somebody. So it's been a generation. I'm sorry, who?
It was 1991. You're correct.
Who'd they split it with?
The Miami Hurricanes.
There you go.
Penix is going to have to have the game of his life if they're going to win.
Does he have to play better than he did against Texas?
He's got to have about the same game.
Okay.
He's got to have the same game. He has to be great for them to win.
Now, let's go back to Michigan, Ohio State. Ohio State had the receivers. They didn't have the quarterback. But there are a lot of people that looked at that game and said, Ohio State had a quarterback. They had guys open. I think they win that game. Even with a quarterback that they weren't enamored with, they moved the ball pretty decently in that game. What did they put, 24 on the board? So, Michigan hasn't faced a passing attack like this.
No.
Because Ohio State didn't have the quarterback to deliver the goods. They had the receivers, but not the quarterback. Washington's got the receivers, and they got the quarterback.
Curious how healthy the running back is. His foot was obviously injured in the game against Texas.
Yeah, he could be 100%. They weren't good. They're not going to run against Michigan. I don't think so. I don't. Could be obviously wrong. It's college football. We're wrong about a lot, but
no, but he can catch the ball out of the backfield too.
Well, there you go.
So hitting that chip block and picking up that pass, that as that little flip.
Yep.
As Chris Landry was talking about.
Yep. You mean like or maybe the little flare out of the backfield at Minshew? They're just kind of. Did you see the lip reading from Steichen?
Yeah,
okay.
He said that was on you.
Yeah, looks right at him and says, "It was there. That's on you." Damn, that's cold. It was not a good pass. It was still catchable, though. Not easy, but it was still catchable. But
got to be a better ball than that, though.
No doubt. With no pressure, absolutely got to be a better ball than that. They would have first and goal, too. He gets inside the 10. They had a receiver blocking a corner. Another guy coming over would have made the tackle or forced him out on the sideline. They get somewhere between the 7 and 9 if they complete that pass. So, what happens from there, who knows? But that's why it's not the last football game in Houston. Texans hosting the Browns. And Deshaun Watson, Joe Flacco. He's NFL storyline. Tyreek going back to Kansas City. Matthew Stafford facing Jared Goff in a playoff game in Detroit.
It is ironic that we keep, and I've been as guilty as anyone, keep talking about the Stafford coming back. If Jared Goff wins this game, I'm not saying that they win the trade. I'm not even trying to surmise that, David. But this has always been about Stafford. It would be poetic justice if Jared Goff wins this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Jared, how does it feel beating the coach who didn't want you anymore? Jared, how does it feel about beating the coach who couldn't wait to get rid of you?
Who said you couldn't essentially win this game?
And I hope it happens, but I want to see Jared Goff's reactions after the game when he's asked these questions, because he's one of the most humble players in the entire league. And I wonder if he will
lie.
show a little bit of that.
No, he's going to lie. He's going to keep it all on the inside. Fossey. No. He's keep it all on the inside. Guys, this is about the team, it's a team win. It's not about me and Matthew. Not about me and Coach McVay. It's about the Detroit Lions.
And these fans in this city, yada, yada, yada.
This, right. That's what it's about. We still got a lot of work to do. We could all answer these questions. Now, it'd be awesome if he'd say, well, I got to admit, been waiting about 3 years for this. All right. And when I walked over and shook his hand, all right, I said, how do you like me now? He, of course, said, I can't hear you. I got my Super Bowl ring is blocking my ear.
Right.
But anytime we can quote Patrick Waugh, we try to on this show. Oh, yeah. And the Packers go to Dallas to face the coach who won them their last Super Bowl in Dallas. Oh, by the way, who's apparently just a bum. Man, he's a terrible coach. Has he won 12 games for 3 straight years? Yeah, as a matter of fact, he has. Whatever. Idiot. Remember, he fired the offense coordinator. They scored all those points. He took over play calling. Dak threw most interceptions in the league last year. Well, what did he throw this year? He had a 4-to-1 TD to interception ratio. He's going to finish second for the MVP. But it's not like he had anything to do with that. Mike McCarthy's dumb. He's fat. He's ugly. He sucks. Okay.
Wow.
Come on
How
now.
does he really feel?
No. Come on. He's got he's got an image and a reputation like he's John Candy coaching football.
I just thought David was doing a little self-loathing for him. That was just,
Right.
I didn't know exactly what was going on there.
I was just talking into the mirror there for a second, so
I wasn't sure there.
I feel badly. I disparaged Mike McCarthy there. I really was talking about me. But no, seriously, that's what people think of him. Just because he's a little beefy, he's pudgy. Okay, so he's fat. Who cares? Andy Reid's fat.
I know, and he can eat burgers and fries in a commercial, and it's cute.
Right.
He
He's
can draw
charming.
mustaches on people's faces.
Right.
Yes, he's got a personality. Mike McCarthy's a moron. What are the Cowboys doing hiring him? If Jerry Jones hires you, then you suck. Oh, okay. Now, don't get me wrong. He's got to win a couple games. He's got to get to an NFC championship game. But, right now, he can coach a little bit.
If they lose this game, is there any chance he gets fired?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
So that would be good for David's 8. I mean, if you're rooting to be correct here, David, you're looking for a Packers win.
Well, are you still convinced the loser of Bucks Eagles is fired? Do you think Bowles kept his job?
I do think it will be a lot tougher. Like, I thought there were going to be 3 openings in the NFC South, and right now there's only 2. There are still whispers about New Orleans. I mean, this is now 3 years in a row not making the playoffs. Sean Payton's final year was 9-8. They lost out in a tiebreaker. Now Dennis Allen. But
But they played hard for them in week 18.
They did. No, they finished strong and beat the Bucks, and then I don't think Dennis Allen's going to get fired. That's one of my 8 that I saw coming a couple weeks ago. I thought the only coach who was going to keep his job was the guy who won the South. I do think it'll be difficult to fire Bowles. I do. And the general manager is not going to recommend it either. Now, that's okay. I mean, the Glazers have done it before, in which they go, yeah, we're doing what we want. We didn't ask you. Do you want to sit in the room or not? But I don't think Tomlin's coming back with Pittsburgh. I'm still betting on that. Belichick is not coming back to New England. I'm still betting on that. That would take it to 7 right there. I'm betting on Sirianni. If Sirianni loses Monday, I will bet real currency that he gets fired. Yes. That would get us to 8 right there.
It definitely would.
But that's a lot, I know.
By the way, did you guys see Jalen Hurts' finger?
Yeah.
On his throwing hand?
Uh-huh.
That didn't look good.
No.
They're not talking about it.
Your finger's not supposed to look like that.
No.
It's
It
really
looked like
not.
he broke it.
Well, yeah.
And then obviously they pulled him because they're getting killed and the Cowboys were pulling away. So there was no reason to have their guys in there. But that's something to watch going into this playoff game.
Sure. Never mind, one of his top 2 receivers left hurt, A.J. Brown. A very costly game for Philly. The safety who had the pick 6 the week before, he blew out his knee. He's done. That was a very costly game for Philly.
And you could make the argument their defense is the worst defense, certainly in the playoffs and maybe in the whole league. Bad.
I don't know about whole league, but boy, it has not been good here. And of course, Lions fans going, yeah, we've seen this, Matt, but you put Matt Patricia in charge of the defense. We've seen this before.
We've watched a team defensively get old in front of our eyes this year.
Yes.
That typically doesn't happen.
Nope.
And when you look at the Eagles, it's not just what happens against the Bucks in the playoff game, but they're an old team. They're old on both lines. There are a lot of guys that are free agents that you don't even know if they're going to come back and play football next year. So where do the Eagles go from here?
And the Hurts contract starts ratcheting up on the books. It happens very quickly in the NFL. Very quickly. It's a remarkable league, and that's why what the Patriots did, what the Chiefs are doing now, deserve an unbelievable amount of credit.
Get set for the thrill of a lifetime with Mud Wheelers Gone Wild at Redneck Mud Park, January 19th through 21st. 3 full days of mud, trails, camping, and more. All for ATVs and side-by-sides only. Friday night is movie night. Ride up and relax. Compete for cash, prizes, and more. With events like our new ATV and side-by-side bounty obstacle challenge, side-by-side and barrel races, and scavenger hunt. Don't miss this family-friendly ATV and side-by-side only event at Redneck Mud Park, January 19th through 21st. Visit redneckmudpark.com for discount tickets and details.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Canada relief, to answer your question about Laporta, gut punch. He did avoid structural damage. They said it's just a bone bruise. So if the Lions can go on a run here, I think he'll be able to come back. But definitely a big loss for the Rams game because he is already an absolute stud as a rookie. Can't say enough about that guy. I mean, he's become such a security blanket. Just throw it to the big guy. And yes, Zach Ertz, that's the rumor. Apparently, Arizona's tight ends coach from last season is the current Lions tight ends coach, and they kind of have a relationship with Ertz. Might go get him on a rental. So, David, where are your Giants picking?
Sixth.
Okay. And what would it have been if they lost yesterday?
Fifth.
Okay, so not a huge difference, but
here's the problem. There's now, if you think about it this way, Chicago, the gut feeling is they're going to keep it and take a quarterback. Washington,
quarterback.
New England.
If they keep Belichick,
no, they'll take a quarterback no matter what. So now there's only, if you're picking fifth, there's only one spot where somebody can trade up ahead of you to take a quarterback. But now it's Arizona and the Chargers ahead of you. There's two openings instead of just one.
Yeah, that's a good point. So Williams, May. You think Daniels goes third?
It could be the guy playing tonight.
Penix?
Well, if Chris Landry has worked in NFL front offices, if he was the assistant general manager somewhere, do you think, if he was the assistant general manager in New England, do you think he'd be recommending they take Penix? Remember, he said he doesn't like him. He loves him.
So, yeah, that's 4 first-rounders. I think we'll see about McCarthy. He won't go in the first round, but he could go second.
Are we sure he's going?
Yes, because Harbaugh's going. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like those guys are attached. Maybe the Raiders draft McCarthy.
There you go.
That's their draw.
Jake Browning's girlfriend got a little attention yesterday.
Oh, did she ever?
Oh, boy. Just avoided a big problem there.
Okay.
Daughter's play is going to be the day before the Invitational. There are 2 showings of the play. One is 2 days before the Invitational. One is the day before, which is Stag Night. That wouldn't have worked out well. Because if I don't get to see the elementary school's performance of the Jungle Book, David, how will I be able to live life?
Jungle Book. That'll be entertaining.
Sure, it will.
Yeah. Could be worse. Could be a lot worse. Could be something you've never heard of.
My daughter is an extracurricular. That's all I've realized in life.
Here we go.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. David Sampson will join us on the show tomorrow. We'll look back at tonight's national championship game, Michigan and Washington. We'll also look back at how many more coaches get let go today. Bill Belichick says he's willing to give up personnel control. Yeah, I don't think he'll have a choice in New England. Nor should he. You could still be the greatest of all time and have faults, you know. And Bill Belichick, the general manager, in the first half of his tenure, he had a pretty good run. Second half, oh boy. You know,
He worked well with a discounted quarterback.
Well, I think a lot of us would have worked well with him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of my point.
But he also put together a championship defense for 20 years. I mean, he did, and they always had a very good offensive line.
You know, it's interesting too, because the parallel here between his lack of success as a GM almost speaks to his greatness as a coach. You know what I mean? They go hand in hand. You're putting together a roster that wins Super Bowls. I mean, David, you give the stat about 2013. They've won 2 Super Bowls since then. And I know this group of players is far removed, but it is really interesting how he's been drafting and putting together the team and seemingly not having a ton of success as a general manager, yet he's still coaching them to victories. I find it super fascinating.
He actually won 3 Super Bowls since then and went to 4. But you've got the Brady stat, you know, Bill Belichick's coaching record without Tom Brady, which people are more than happy to throw in his tenure in Cleveland as well.
Well, you have to.
Yeah. But the last 4 years is enough. You know, it's partly why Tom left. Tom knew we're not as good as we used to be. I can't carry this any longer. Look at us. We're not any good. Would they go 7-10, 10-7, not counting the playoff loss, and then the last 2 years, 8-9 last year, and 4-13 this year. The last time the Patriots had a record this bad, they fired their coach and hired some guy named Bill Parcells. Which led to Pete Carroll, which led to Bill Belichick.
So what you're saying is whoever this guy is, he's 2 away from being the coach that they want.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's 3 Hall of Famers. I mean, Bob Kraft seems to, you know, I mean, put it this way. I'm willing to give Bob the benefit of the doubt. His decision on Bill, and if he moves on, whoever it is that he hires. I know he hasn't done it in a while, but he's got a pretty good track record. But he hasn't done it in a while.
No, he is not.
You guys still got my notes from 1999, 2000? No? Dust that off for me, will you? So I think he's let go today. I think they're going to move on, even if he is willing to stay and have somebody else pick the groceries, as Bill Parcells like to say. I think he's moving on. And for as much as I love him, I would not let him pick the players moving forward. I'd let him have input. You can have a voice. You can do all the scouting that you've always done and what have you, and you can have a strong voice in the room. Bill, you are not getting the final voice anymore. No way. Love you, man, but no way.
I would be stunned if he remains. I really would be. With all that's going on, if Belichick's still the coach of the Patriots, I'd be stunned.
You know what is interesting is in New England, and I don't know if this matters, but remember they were going to move on to Gerard Mayo? Man, has he been getting bad press for the last 4 to 6 weeks in New England. What is up with that? Who did he honk off? I mean, he was the heir apparent. Everybody jumped up and down when they made him defensive coordinator. What is going on? He's gotten bad ink, Mark. Okay, you know, those anonymous sources, they are out. They are out to make sure that it is not Gerard Mayo. It could be Mike Vrabel. Hell, it could even be Brian Flores, but not Gerard Mayo. Huh. Wonder what's going on there.
Well, it's amazing to me who leaks things out and how they get out and who wants them to get out.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's nothing that's, to me, not calculated inside the Patriots organization. I don't think there are rogue sources leaking information out, if you know what I mean.
I think it's the owner's son, personally, but that's just me. I think that's certain people who haven't had a say in a whole lot of football decisions for the last 20-something years that are like, yeah, we're gonna make the decisions from this point forward. What do you think Tennessee's going to do with Vrabel? He's got an early meeting this morning with ownership there. I mean, I think they're crazy if they get rid of him. He can coach.
And think, you know, if you want to put anything on the end of the season, look what they did yesterday.
And look what they did in Miami. I mean, they've ruined 2 of the 3 Florida football team seasons. Dolphins beat the Titans. They're the 2 seed. Jags beat the Titans. They're the 4 seed.
But they are about to rebuild in Tennessee. I mean, Derrick Henry thanked everybody that there was to thank yesterday.
Oh, my goodness.
Including the cleaning staff.
By name.
By name.
Which is pretty impressive, by the way.
Take the pretty out.
Yeah.
It's incredibly impressive.
That's a good dude right there. I don't know. It's a pretty good 8-year run. Derrick Henry, if he doesn't take another snap, Hall of Famer?
Yes.
I'm with you. I don't know. It looked like he still had a little something yesterday.
Speaking of guys that moved on as running back, did you see Zeke's comment yesterday?
Did Zeke not sound like a middle-aged guy or what? You know how those of us who grow up not in the South come to a point in our lives in which we say, you know, when I lived in wherever, Northeast, New England, Midwest, Upper Midwest, when I grew up, so, you know, I used to love winter, loved my snow days. I used to love sitting in traffic, listening to the radio, wore it as a badge of honor. And then I got to a point in life in which I said, what are you, a moron? This is stupid. Why do I want winter where I can go where it's always spring and summer? And why do I want traffic? What purpose is this serving?
Always thought it'd be cool to play a game in the snow. Then I did, and it kind of sucked.
Quote of the year for that Patriots team.
That's awesome.
You know, we always see the team celebrate in the snow and win. We don't ever talk to the loser in the snow. The loser has no fun in the snow. It's just wet and cold. Speaking of which, if there were ever reasons to move south, watching Baltimore and Pittsburgh play football, that literally was awful. I'll take the snow over the 40 and sideways rain during that game. There was nothing about that looked enjoyable.
How about the Ravens players who are like, man, I wasn't good enough to get, you know, the day off today. Damn. Next year, my goal is when we get the 1 seed, I don't play week 18. This is garbage. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap today was the day when. It's all next.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few joy stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Well, Sonny, let's see. With Rom no longer on your TV, and Speed's always good television. He's probably the best television since Tiger and Phil. Speed's probably the best television. He's probably the guy most likely to make birdie or double.
How did Kisner do? I did not watch any of it, and then I read one report where it didn't go well.
I haven't seen a review. Who said it didn't go well?
I just saw something on the internet that was, kind of a meme of how, this is what got, like, just kind of bashing him, and I just didn't know if that was universal. I didn't like I said, I didn't see any of it. I didn't think about any of it. I wasn't planning on watching any of it.
I will say his quote before his first day was interesting. He basically said, it's time for younger people in the booth It's time for people who have more of a relationship with the golfers, and it's time for that kind of announcing. Okay. The difference is he said, and I'm friends with most everybody on tour.
Oh, great.
So he got a lot of attention for Jordan Spieth at a 3-footer, and Jordan took forever over it. And midway through it, he said, "Come on, Jordan, it's 3 feet. Just bang it in the hole." And then Spieth lipped out. I think so, Sonny. I don't know for a fact, but I'd be willing to bet on it. It was interesting to me, though, they didn't have a plan B. Like, they entered negotiations with Azinger. They offered a cut. He countered, which was still a cut. And they said, "Nah, we're good." And then when it was like, "Well, who's his replacement?" They're like, "We don't know." Which, by the way, if I currently work at the Golf Channel, like I'm Justin Leonard, dude, what's going? Why did I not get the gig? Kevin Kisner? What's he won? Has he played on a Ryder Cup team?
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes till the top of the hour, 16 until we're out of here. The Diamond District bonus hour of Miller and Moulton on this Black Monday in the NFL, National Championship Monday in college football. Ron Rivera's been fired. He was coach and pseudo GM of the Commanders. Carolina Panthers fired their general manager, Scott Fitterer. Belichick about to meet with Kraft. Vrabel to meet with his ownership group in Nashville. If you missed it last night, Arthur Smith got fired as head coach of the Falcons. So with Rivera's firing, that's 5 head coaches out of a job and 4 franchises who need general managers. And we're not even done with breakfast.
It's time for someone to take back this segment, if for no other reason than to stop David from talking about Meghan and Harry. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
We start in 1790. George Washington delivers the first State of the Union address. Shortly thereafter, Fox and CNN had different opinions on how the State of the Union went.
And MSNBC said he is totally unfit for the job.
Today in 1835, the U.S. national debt is 0 for the first and only time. (1945), the University of Kentucky sets a record holding Arkansas State to 6. Your final score, 75-6 for the Wildcats. 1962, Jack Nicklaus makes his pro debut. Don't know whatever happened to him. 1966, the Beatles' Rubber Soul album goes number 1. Today in 1972, the NCAA says freshmen can play in the fall. Did that blow you away a little bit, David, that before that freshmen couldn't play?
And it was accepted, understood. Lou Alcindor's freshman team beat the varsity team that would win the national title.
The Raiders beat the Seahawks, and the Washington Redskins beat San Francisco today in 1984 to set up their Super Bowl. In 89, the Niners would beat the Bears 28-3, and Cincinnati would beat the Bills to set up their Super Bowl.
That was the last time under Ditka that the Bears were in the conference championship game.
2000, the Music City Miracle. Tennessee beats Buffalo 22-16. 2012, Tebow to Thomas. Denver wins in overtime over Pittsburgh 29-23. And it was today in 2018 that Alabama would win the national title, defeating Georgia 26-13.
Tua to Devontae.
Elvis, Stephen Hawking, David Bowie, and Bruce Sutter, all born today. As far as actual people celebrating birthdays, we don't really want to celebrate his birthday, but R. Kelly's 57. What did I miss, David?
A lot of stuff. We captured El Chapo today, 8 years ago.
Didn't you have that the other day that we captured him? That's why I didn't include it.
No.
You had that like on Thursday or Friday, I thought.
No, I think it was someone different.
Okay.
13 years ago, the shooting in Arizona, Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords. Remarkable she survived that. Crazy Horse with his last battle today in 1877, if we really want to go old school, Mark. But what was the one I really wanted to go with today? I can't believe this is actually, you and I both look up different services to, stuff that happened on this day. I kid you not. You don't see this headline very often. 1992, President George H.W. Bush vomits on the Prime Minister of Japan.
I had that, and I'm like, how do you fit in the president vomits on the Prime Minister of Japan?
Yeah. And then, then also that's taking a cheap shot. I mean, the guy didn't feel well. Okay.
We celebrate Jordan's flu game, yet we're going to give Bush a hard time about playing hurt.
And besides, I mean, a war hero, a life of service to this country. I mean, that's a cheap shot. So that's all I got.
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
We go to Toronto, where Ben Pobjoy called his own personal project Marathon Earth Challenge. He traveled across North and South America, Europe, Africa, and Asia, running 26.2 miles in each location. Over the course of a year, he ran 242 freestyle marathons. That's right, 242. And he will break the Guinness World Record for most freestyle marathons run in 1 year. Why anybody would want to do that is beyond me.
David Sampson will join us on the show tomorrow. We'll ask him.
He's a slouch compared to this guy. He only ran like one in each continent. This guy ran like 240 of them. What did Sampson run, like 7?
Well, like the one he didn't run. I think he did 6. Tough to do that Antarctica marathon.
Get to work. Tough shoes. For the bad, we go to Australia, where Tanella Banks is an animal sanctuary and relocation service worker who had to relocate a snake that was found in a public restroom.
Uh-oh.
It was a venomous snake found on the bowl of a public toilet.
Oh, my goodness.
The snake was released to nearby brushland and no one was hurt. I don't know if I could ever sit down again.
I know. Oh, please.
For the ugly, we go to North Fort Myers, where Joseph Daly decided he was going to follow someone that blew a stop sign. Joseph, bad move. Don't do it. But he followed him, and he was apparently just going to tell him not to run stop signs anymore.
A mile and a half back there when you ran through that stop sign, you really shouldn't do that.
So he finally chased down the person who had ran the stop sign, and the driver got out of the truck, took 3 steps, and punched Daly, and then left after throwing the punch.
Ow! That hurt.
He's lucky he was only punched.
Yeah, really.
I'm not following anybody telling them what they did wrong on the road anymore. Good job running the stop sign.
You did it. That's how you run a stop sign, buddy. Way to go.
That is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, January the 8th, 2024.
So we got 6 games in the NBA. By the way, it was remarkable. The hotel that we were staying at in Indianapolis, that's where the Celtics were staying. And man, the NBA hangers on, that's a clientele, man. That's a good time. That's a reality TV show. Let me tell you.
NBA entourage.
The lobby of an NBA hotel room. I am not kidding. Also, 2 of the upper floors in the hotel had a certain aroma to them. Okay. Might not want to take in the smoke. That's all I'm going to say. And of course, there's no smoking or vaping allowed in the hotel. The Heat are hosting the Rockets tonight. How come they're only a 3.5-point favorite? I mean, they're hosting Houston. Houston's not a good road team. Houston has an above 500 record, but they're kicking everybody at home. They're not that good on the road. What am I missing?
Playing?
Well, I'm assuming Jimmy Butler's not playing again, but I don't know. 3.5 just seems a little low. By the way, the rematch of the Celtics and Pacers in Indianapolis, Boston slowed down Indiana. Indiana had scored 141 and 150 in their 2 games previous. They faced the Celtics. They barely got to 100. NHL, they're playing. Is there a Stanley Cup Finals matchup on the agenda tonight? Bruins in Colorado to face the Avs. Some would say.
I thought you were talking about Vancouver and the Rangers.
Come on now. Take it easy, big fella. Come on.
You mean the first place Vancouver Canucks?
And the first place Rangers. I know. I know.
Oh, okay. Woe is me for saying it's a possible Stanley Cup preview. A rematch of the great 94 Cup.
That is true. 30 years later. But come on now. I'm a Rangers fan, and I'm saying pump the brakes. So 6 NBA games, 4 NHL games. Hey, one more college football game. Ladies and gentlemen, you do know we're down to 14 football games. And one of them's tonight. So if I were you, I'd pay attention. ESPN, not simulcast on ABC, ESPN tonight. And for some reason, they're saying 7:30. They're not really going to kick this game off at like 7:38, are they? I mean, they're just trying to get us to watch the pregame.
Man, I hope not. I've got gymnastics from 6 to 8, David. I need this thing to kick off at about 8:10.
I mean, I can't believe they would kick off at 4:40 out west. Remember, Washington's in the game, not D.C. So, Michigan, a 5.5-point favorite against the Huskies. For the record, we're both taking Michigan. Mark wants no part of the spread. Thinks it's going to be close. Points have scared him off. If anything, you'd probably take them, right?
I would. If forced, I would take Washington in the points, even though I think Michigan's going to win the game.
I think Michigan's going to win. I think they're going to cover in the end. I think they're just going to be too physical for them at the end. I got Michigan 35-28. That's a win. That's a cover. That's an over.
And I've got Michigan 33-30. That's a win, but a Washington cover and an over.
And I do like the over in the first half. I think the over is around 28-29. I think we'll get some points early, I think, in the game. I think the Michigan defense settles in. You know, sometimes you have to see as a defense, you got to see the dynamic passing attack, and then you're like, oh, okay, now I know what the coaches are talking about.
I think Michigan's receivers will make a couple of plays, and that'll be the difference. He's got to be able to complete some passes in this game. He really didn't really have to against Alabama.
Well, and also they dropped a bunch of passes.
Oh, exactly.
I mean, come on, boys. You got a scholarship. Catch the ball.
No, you got more than a scholarship now. You got a scholarship and an income, David.
That's true.
I mean, don't sell Michigan short. They've got their NIL going on.
No, there's no doubt.
McCarthy really hasn't been asked to do a whole lot with his arm all season.
No. In
Because
fact,
they've not played anybody.
Right.
When Bama took the lead on them in the second half, wasn't that the first time Michigan had trailed in the second half all year?
It was, yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm kind of with you on that, Mark. I think he's going to have to make a couple plays, and that's going to determine the outcome. Because Washington's going to sling it.
Just whether or not Michigan gets to him. That pass rush, to me, that pass rush up the middle is everything. Because Penix was able to slide up in the game against Texas and make throws. He'll have to move to his right or left, and I just don't know if he's able to. That's great. He impressed me against Texas. I mean, he was great. I think he'll have to be great again tonight.
There is college hoop tonight, but there's nothing really of note. So we're not neglecting college hoops. There's just really, they realized we probably shouldn't schedule much tonight.
Got
Smart.
that right.
So FGCU took one on the chin Saturday, snapped their 4-game winning streak. North Florida beat them good, beat them by 20.
Right from the word go, too.
Yeah. Yep.
Up big at the half and then just cruise to victory.
So now the Eagles head on the road in conference play. Miller and Moulton. Miss any part of the show? Go to floridasportsnetwork.com. Download what you missed. David Sampson joins us on the show tomorrow. There'll be nothing to talk about with him. Coach is getting fired, national championship game. He's not going to have opinion on any of that. Miller and Moulton, have a great rest of your day. Thanks for listening.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for